our viewers and all of our supporters. And I'm going to hand it to Tom real quick to remind you about our partner of the day. You all rock. We love you so much. Tom, let us know.
Thank you, Lila. Great job. Our partner today was itargetpro.com. Innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. But most of us don't have time to consistently train, plus ammo is very expensive. That's why iTarget Pro was invented. Using the proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all the major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today you can save 10% off, plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days of practice. That's why, that's the letter itargetpro.com, itargetpro.com, offer, and don't forget to use offer code SAVE10. So we want to thank itargetpro.com for being a partner with us today here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. President Trump delivering for the great state of Michigan, saying that when we win, America wins, and when Michigan wins, America wins. Asking for 4 more years from the great patriots here in the state of Michigan. We need you, Michigan, to come through for President Donald J. Trump. It's a re-election campaign only 4 days away. I want to thank you for joining us, for watching with us. Check out our website, rsbnetwork.com, rsbnetwork.com/donate, and there you can find all the links for our network. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram at RSB Network. And
let us know if you're going to any rallies. Tom, did you let them know any of the rallies that are coming up?
Yes, we have our second rally is coming up right here, scheduled for 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Brian Glenn is standing by with Zoe, and then tonight at 6 p.m. we have our third rally of the day from Rochester, Minnesota. Mike Nificent and Brick Suit and Chismaga will be there for you, bringing all the action.
And we've got 6 p.m. tonight at Rochester in Minnesota. Yes. Tomorrow, Reading, Pennsylvania and Butler, Pennsylvania. I will be there tomorrow night at Butler, Pennsylvania. Thank you again so much for tuning in. Thank you for supporting RSBN. Thank you for supporting our president and our lovely country. And we will see you at the next rally. Thank you all so much.
Good night.
Okay, we're going to transition our coverage over to the Green Bay rally where Liz Willis and Brian Glenn are standing by. For those of you still watching on the Michigan stream, you can move over to the Green Bay event, which we're already live over there, so you can do that. If you're watching on Facebook or Periscope, we will start a new stream here very shortly. Again, thank y'all all for your support. Please pray for this team. Pray for me, because it has been probably the roughest week of my life, and I'm about to go through 3 extremely difficult days with 14 rallies in the next 4 days, I guess today, and then 11 after today. So it's going to be rough. We're going to be up tonight making sure we can book that travel. So if you want to contribute, please contribute to us at rsbnetwork.com/donate, or share our streams and share it with the world. All right, be back soon from Green Bay. Hang in there.
right, here we are 4 days away from the 2020 election, and as leaves us right now here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Hello, everybody. I am Brian Glenn, along with the Queen herself. This is the first time I've gotten to work with you.
It's exciting.
It is awesome.
I feel like we're going to spend half the broadcast just getting to know each other.
I know.
Talking.
We've actually done that over the last couple of minutes. We're like, okay, where'd you grow up? What did you do? Who'd you work for? But we are proud to be here in front of you today for yet another Trump rally. And of course, Liz, we're 4 days away from, we keep saying this, but this is the biggest election of our time.
Absolutely. Sorry, I'm gonna work on not grabbing the microphone. We have 4 days for 4 more years. It's absolutely historic, and I'm trying to just take in every moment I can, because there will never be another president that's gonna be able to rally like this and who even genuinely wants to campaign like this. President Trump loves America, and he's fighting so hard for this job. And contrast to that, if you look at the Biden-Harris campaign, I don't think we'll ever see a candidate who clearly does not even want the job.
Absolutely, and we've heard speeches earlier today, and the message was clear that you've had a choice coming up on November 3rd. Do you want freedom, or do you want to give it up to a Marxist socialist party? And that's exactly what would happen if the Harris-Biden administration took over.
No, I completely agree. It's pretty scary. I remember a few years ago, a decade ago actually, when I was in high school learning about socialism and communism, and I remember thinking, this will never happen here. Like, why does anybody fall for this?
It is, and here we are today.
We are fighting against it.
Yeah. And imagine if you take a look on social media, you see the Biden rallies is literally 3 people in a car and they're honking horns. You know, come on by, guys. We're right on the end of the media rises here, so Liz and I have to do a tap dance to get people by. But you've seen the rallies. How much enthusiasm can you have if you're literally in a car honking the horn? And I love Biden's little couple steps, and he starts running again, you know, to make the impression that we all have all this energy that we have. It's just people aren't buying it, and the enthusiasm here. Although today the crowd is just starting to flow in here as they've got to bus everybody in here, which I think takes a little bit longer than usual. But this is what it's all about. You're going to see a Trump rally today, and what's interesting, Liz, is you noticed earlier they asked, "Is this the first rally you've been to?" And there's a lot of people. This is the first time they've ever seen President Trump.
For a lot of people, this is the first and only time they will ever see a sitting candidate. And what's interesting, one of the pre-speakers mentioned this. It got my attention because it's so clue. He said, after President Trump, it's done for Wisconsin. You're not going to see presidents anymore. This is going to go back to being a flyover state. And that's so sad. Every single state should have the opportunity for their president to come and visit with them and want to be amongst them. But that's just not what presidents do. This is very specific to President Trump and his administration and the message they're getting out by, you know, communicating directly to the people as opposed to going through mainstream media outlets.
And a filter.
Yeah, I mean, he really wants to be with these people and give them opportunities to be with the sitting president of the United States of America. It's very cool.
Absolutely. And if this is your first time watching us, thank you so much. And I always say this, comment, like us, share us, comment, tag a friend if they haven't seen President Trump speak yet. Now's a good time to do that. But we want to thank all of our sponsors. And Liz, we talk about our sponsors all the time, how we absolutely love them. And without the generous donations by you, also our viewer and our sponsors, we can bring this all to you. We've got crews across the country, Liz, and I don't know where you just came from yesterday. You're all over the place.
I don't think I know where I came from either. Fayetteville, North Carolina.
There you go.
So upsetting. Actually, that rally was canceled. We woke up in the morning. We went to preset. We did everything we were supposed to do. It was really windy at preset. I believe the wind was around 32 miles per hour at that time. I thought, if this gets worse, you know, there's no way they're going to have this. It got a little better, I thought, but just out of safety precautions with the wind coming in and Hurricane Zeta bringing some storms. We went back. We were super excited. Makeup was on. Coffee had been drank, and we walked in, and as we walked in, it was canceled. So we just took down our equipment, texted Joe. We said, we want to work. Put us in, coach. We can't just sit around, sit idly by while this election is in the fate of essentially RSBN's hands. I mean, a lot of people's hands, Trump's hands, the campaign's hands, America's hands, but we have work to do. We have hundreds of millions of people that are relying on us to view these streams.
And I'm so glad you said that, because right before we came on stage here, Liz was talking to a couple of fans, and I'm new to the right side broadcasting, so I haven't had the experience of seeing the interaction with the people here. But let me tell you something. I've worked in this industry for a long time. I have never seen the love that these people show RSBN here, and especially you, the Queen, right? I mean, this is where I started, right here.
I'm gonna miss it. I've never experienced love like this before either, so I love it.
Yeah, we love
President Trump loves to be with his people. I love to be with mine.
Yeah.
It's a win-win situation.
And I love the fact the other day that President Trump tweeted RSBN and tweeted one of the segments that we did, and my phone blew up instantly, and I was like, I'm so proud to work for RSBN. But we were also proud to have sponsors, and we got a great sponsor for today, and you know what? They're a big part of what we do.
Absolutely, thank you. We want to take a moment to say thank you to iTarget Pro for being today's partner. They make it possible for us to continue getting to these rallies. If you've been watching the news, you know that innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and are being forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. But when the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. Most of us don't have time to consistently train, plus ammo's very expensive. But this is why iTarget Pro was invented. Using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train in the safety and convenience of your own home with your own actual firearm. iTarget Pro comes in all major bullet sizes, so whatever gun you might have, they have the iTarget Pro for you. You can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today, since they're our partner for this rally, you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. That's SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a matter of days. That's the letter I, targetpro.com. Again, itargetpro.com. Make sure RSBN viewers to use code SAVE10. That's SAVE, the numbers 10 at checkoff for free shipping and 10% off.
There you go. And of course, if you're watching us right now at work, how do you do that? I mean, how do you stream us while you're at work right now? Quietly,
so
but
you don't get fired.
There you go. But we want you to donate as well, and it's as easy for someone to sit home and donate. It doesn't really matter what that amount is.
Yeah, it's very easy. We like to make it as user-friendly as possible. That's kind of the whole niche behind all of RSBN. We throw up our streams on YouTube. You don't need cable. You know, you want to watch our stream, grab it throughout the day, play it back later. It's okay if you're not watching it live. We want to make this so easy. Politics doesn't have to be that confusing. And similar to that, we want to make us being on air as simple as possible, and your donations are what allow us to stay on air. I cannot stress this enough. We have to have donations. We're almost entirely viewer funded, and we have roughly 20 rallies left. Roughly 20 rallies left. In 3 of those days, there are going to be 14, I think, alone. So this is very expensive, these last-minute flights. The campaign actually released the last bit of these rallies today. So imagine booking 15 trips in 3 days for your family. These numbers are going to be astronomical. We need your help. Please help us get to the finish line. We are going to finish strong for 4 more years for President Trump. There are a number of ways you can donate. The first one is the YouTube Super Chat. So if you're not utilizing the Super Chat, it's a shame because it's a lot of fun. It's essentially just an old school chat room. You can talk in. But the cool new feature is the $sign in the bottom right-hand corner. You can click that $sign and donate absolutely any amount. Your name will come up highlighted on the screen, so it's fun. We get to interact in a little bit and read some of those out loud. So go ahead and get those in. The second way you can donate, it's very helpful, by going to our website. Our website is very user-friendly. Our CEO, Joe Seals, runs it. Very clean, cut, to the point. Go to www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. Again, that's www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. You'll be prompted to donate any amount once again. It's done through PayPal, tried, true, trusted source. So donate that way. You can even send a message there as well. We'll get those messages forwarded to our email so we can give those shout outs too. And the third way, this is the non-electronic form of donations. You can send a check to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. So just to reiterate, those 3 main ways of donations are the YouTube Super Chat, the website donations, and by sending a check. Don't forget, like he mentioned earlier, you can share us. That's free. Share the stream everywhere. Like it. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe on all major platforms. We are happy to answer any questions you might have, but we need your help, America. We are fighting for the future of this nation.
Yes,
4 days.
4 days left, and of course, I was in Carson City, and people were giving us cash, actually walking up giving us cash donations, which is kind of crazy.
I feel like most conservatives know that we hate being taxed, and they're like, just take it.
Just
But
take the money.
YouTube takes 30% of the donations, which is an interesting factor. PayPal takes 10%. Checks, we get, I think, 100% of the checks. So checks and cash are great. They help us a lot. But these website donations, that's where the majority comes from because it's the easiest. And that's what we need right now. We just need that last minute help to get us to the finish line.
Absolutely. 4 days left, and of course, one of the reasons why so many people like us is because we are not the fake news. And I just read an article this morning that a lot of the mainstream media right now is not reporting the record GDP growth we've had in this country. 33%, and it said that the CNNs of the world, the MSNBCs of the world are not reporting on the GDP right now. And it's outlets like Fox, obviously Fox News is very relevant in that space, but so is Right Side Broadcasting. GDP growth is huge. It reflects the rebound. Of course, we had one of the record-setting economies in this nation's history. Stock markets are up, 401ks are up, and of course, with coronavirus hitting, it's a little bit of a setback, but we have come back strong. And the fact that the mainstream media won't report on this record GDP growth is absolutely disgusting is what it is. It's absolutely disgusting. It's pushing a narrative. It's the doom and gloom. And if you look at what the message is coming out of the Harris-Biden administration, it's fear. It's COVID fear. It's how many people died today? How many cases are today? You know what, folks, you're going to hear today at 2:30, this man will take this stage and he is going to put a message that, you know what, I'm pro-America. I'm going to open up this country. We're going to let our economy boom. We're going to get kids back in school. We're going to get churches back open. I'll share a quick story with you. I left Laughlin, Nevada, Bullhead City yesterday. As I was walking through the casino, I saw nothing but a bunch of seniors chain smoking in front of a slot machine. I was on my way to the gym at the hotel. Guess what? The gym is closed, but you can gamble. Folks, we've got to set the record straight. We've got to get this economy back open. We got to get our states back open. And here in Wisconsin, they want just that. I'm going to step aside and let you take a look at set the scene here. We probably have, I would say at this point, several thousand people that are here gathered. It's a very chilly morning here in Green Bay. Now, we've got a little bit of sunshine right now, but don't let that fool you. The radiational heating is absolutely not there, but it is roughly. We've got some people waving to us. Let me see if I can get over. We got a little shot of the overcrowd going there. And when we walked up here, I'll just be quite honest with you, people absolutely love Right Side Broadcasting. We show you what you're looking at right now. This is the overcrowd shot. This is the overflow that couldn't get into the seating area. So we got people staged here. We've got the music, we've got some coffee, we've got some water. People are anticipating President Trump's arrival. Now, he said to speak at 2:30, but quite honestly, I don't think it's going to happen at 2:30 because he wrapped up a little late coming from the previous rally. But nevertheless, he will be here delivering once again another message. I'm going to step back out here. This is interesting as well. Now, the state of Florida, in the last 25 years, the person that has won Florida has gone on to win the presidential election. That's 25 years straight to be proven true. Now, we saw earlier in the election, the Democrats had a stronghold on the state of Florida in early voting. We've now seen that lead shrink considerably. Now, new voter registration in Florida, as far as Republicans go, has gone up. Not as much on the other side for the Democrats. So we've got the stronghold in Florida, and I really feel like we're going to win the state of Florida. Now, back in 2016, President Trump took the state of Wisconsin, but it's cities like Milwaukee that were heavily Democrat. That might skew a little bit more in Trump's favor now, but we anticipate a Wisconsin win for the 2020 election. And as we talked about voter fraud, and of course you've seen stories in the news of countless lines and I guess voting machines breaking down. We even saw a story where someone was fishing votes out of a mailbox. That's going to happen. But what's really disturbing me right now is seeing that you've got a message. You've got a message coming from the right that says, look, if this election does not go our way, we're going to simply go back to work. The message on the left is that the election doesn't go our way, we're going to riot. We're going to instill violence in our culture. That's why you're seeing cities around the country prepare for this. Breaking out some military, having a plan to fight the violence that might come after this election. And that is scary, folks. That is scary. And of course, they have been trying to discredit the 2016 election even to this day. So we've got to wake up. And there's cities across this country on November 3rd, you're either going to have a peaceful movement or it's going to go the opposite direction. You have a choice on November 3rd. You have a choice. And this is the very first election you've ever voted in. And my son was 19 years old. This is the first election, obviously, he's had a chance to vote in. The Gen Z numbers for this election are strong. We've got, of course, all the events in the summertime with all the violence, George Floyd, that spawned a huge swell of voters on the left. But adversely, conservative young voters as well. We had Charlie Kirk on the show a couple of days ago. He is huge with Turning Point USA of getting out the young conservative voter. That's important for this election. It's important that we get out and vote. I'm going to step aside, show the crowd real quick as we are getting ready once again for President Trump. And of course, it's cold, but these, talking some locals here, this is nothing. This is nothing to them. Going over a couple little facts as well. Elizabeth Warren has said that she'd like to be Biden's Treasury Secretary, given the opportunity. And that will kind of give you an idea of what that administration would look like. I mean, we had speakers from time to time on every campaign rally talk about this. If you want to see exactly what a Joe Biden administration will look like, look at who surrounds him. AOC, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders. That's what you would get if Joe Biden is elected. This is, without a doubt, a battle between Marxism and what we have today as this country was laid out, giving us rights, giving us freedoms, and we must continue to fight for that. If you also notice that socialism is becoming something that becomes very popular with young people, and I don't quite understand it. And maybe Liz, I'll bring you in on this. I'm talking about the rise of socialism amongst young people. I don't think they quite understand what it is. I remember early on I said, as jokingly, socialism doesn't mean social media. It means a way of life that is you have no freedom, you have no control. And I think it's very important that we get that message out for that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people my age, a little bit younger, anything within this kind of millennial generation, socialism, they think the idea of free things sounds amazing. Free college, free healthcare, but nothing's free. Someone's paying for that, and in turn, you owe someone for what you're getting. Someone is paying for it. It doesn't make any sense. I actually got to take a trip to Cuba about a year ago, and it was I wish it was the best experience of my life. It was one of the one places I've been that I'll never want to go back to. It is so heavily patrolled. You can't even go to public restaurants. They're owned by the government. You have to be very careful as an American citizen where you eat, because if they find out that you're eating at a Cuba-owned restaurant as opposed to a public one, you get charged with treason. I mean, it was the craziest things. And that is what communism and socialism will do to your country. These people were so poor, so unbelievably poor. There's times where they would rely on breadcrumbs for years. They had absolutely nothing. They don't get items imported into their country. They don't have these trade deals. And I guess it goes to show what an open market can do and what President Trump is fighting for. Communism and socialism, bad.
Yeah. Let's talk about big tech. And as we talk about Facebook's, Twitter, we've seen the CEOs of big tech be in front of Congress and the Senate talking about the ways they're shadow banning a lot of conservative viewpoints. And I've noticed in my personal circle of friends that a lot of people are very shy to outwardly express their conservative values or even their support for the president on Facebook, knowing that they're going to lose friends. Have you lost anybody your friends list since you started working for this station?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what's even cooler is how many I've gained. So we'll note that. We like to stay positive. No, but I've had some horrible people that I thought. One of my youth pastor actually started being pretty rough to me about like a week ago. He I was sharing a post, and it was my personal Facebook page, and two people. It was a mentor from when I was in high school. She was Miss Parkview before I was, and she meant the world to me. I always looked up to her. I could tell she's a liberal in the past few years, and I don't care. You know, this is democracy. Do whatever you want. That's the beauty of it. And then my youth pastor, I would see he's liberal. Actually, 3 in the past week. People that were really close to me came out on my personal page saying, "You are a public figure now. How dare you share stuff like this? You need to be more careful about what you are using. You need to educate, not manipulate." I'm like, what are you talking about? So you can come on here and fight for being able to kill a baby, but I can't stand up for
the wokeness. Well, the wokeness in the church is what's being very destructive right now in our country. It's not time to celebrate BLM, the Marxist organization that really wants to fundamentally break down the family and the church. That is what's wrong with the church right now. If you're at a church that's celebrating BLM, you need to find a new church. That's not for you. And to your point, it is okay. I don't get it. Like, 30 million Christians did not vote in the 2016 election. 30 million Christians. That is a difference between a win and a loss. Okay? So if there's one thing that might resonate with you right now, if it's pro-life, then let that be your cause. Let that be the reason why you vote for Donald Trump. And if you don't like his personality for whatever, perhaps you don't like his tweets, whatever. But the time is to put all the personality that you might have against this president and vote on policies, people. Vote on policies. I always like to say this. You're not in the 8th grade voting for school body president. It's not about the personality. It's about the policies that shape our society.
No, I completely agree. And I guess touching back, I've lost friends, and I've made good points to kind of combat what they have to say. I think it's really interesting how the left thinks that they're allowed to have opinions, but we're not, is one of the biggest takeaways I've gotten from that. Despite the fact, if you look at it from like an unbiased opinion, we are clearly, ethically fighting for what's right. I mean, like not murdering someone. Anyways, I also want to say thank you to everyone on Right Side Broadcasting Network. They've gone above and beyond to make up for my loss of friends tenfold. Yeah. So I absolutely love all the support I've gotten on Twitter.
Let's talk about your social media handles. Let's give it. This is the first time somebody's watching this right now. There's a way you can follow both of us, and let's give out all your handles.
Awesome. I'd love to. I'm on Twitter at Liz Willis. That's LIZWILLIS with an underscore. I'm on Instagram at Liz Willis, LIZWILLIS. Before we get to yours, I also want to plug Right Side Broadcasting Network. They are on Instagram and Twitter. They have the same handle, so it's at RSB Network. And we're constantly, I mean, I'm sure you go through it the same as RSBN does, the same as I do, but when it comes to conservative censorship and just constantly fighting with these algorithms to get it out there, so you guys are warriors, and you have so much more power than you know.
I'm so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. You guys are warriors out there. It's because of you. You're sharing our broadcast, you're liking it, you're retweeting stuff.
Watching it,
yeah. No, that definitely makes all sense. I am Brian Glenn TV, BrianGlenn TV across the board, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. I was on Snapchat for a while, but I'm an old guy. I think for the fact, actually, it's funny. Brick Suit and I had a conversation.
Snapchat is private.
Is it? Yeah. Brick Suit and I had an interesting conversation the other day. We are the 2 oldest people here at the network. We are on air. Brick Suit is older than me. I'm 51 tomorrow, actually. Oh no, November 1st I'm 51, and he's 50. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, but in maturity, I'm right up there with you.
Yeah, I said I act 14. I'm actually 50, but I act 14. But anyway, so yeah, follow me on social.
27, I act 77, so it's fine.
Oh, well, that's right. So it averages out somewhere like there.
Yeah, we're both like 18.
Yeah, we're both like 18. But we're so glad you're joining us, and of course, it's because people like you, we can make all this work. Come on through. This is what you get when you're at the end of the riser here. But this is the vantage point that we wanted. But we get to interact with the crowd, and of course, all we have to do is hold up a Right Side Broadcasting hat or something like that, and this place goes crazy as they love and support what we're doing here. You know, there's a lot of talk about what would the president do if violence hits the streets after election, and we saw violence here in this state this summertime. And this law and order is a big thing for the folks of Wisconsin. What are you hearing when you go out to all these rallies as far as what do people want to see this president do once he's elected?
I guess some of the biggest things they want to see are law and order. With what's happening now with our country, there's so much civil unrest. There's a lot of polarizing opinions between sides. And President Trump has always been the candidate for law and order. It's something that he has stuck by. There's been countless cities, time and time again, where they would have the rioting and the looting and just destroying businesses going on for days. But the governors, don't know why, they would refuse to call for help. Finally, they call President Trump. He sends the National Guard. Boom. No violence needed. They show up. People calm down. They go home. You cannot live in a country and you cannot function in a country that doesn't feel safe going outside, that doesn't feel safe going to work, and especially that doesn't have a business to work from. Ironically, Black Lives Matter, the majority of the businesses they destroyed were also minority-owned businesses. So this is just really terrible leadership on the BLM movement from start to finish. They are destroying their own country.
Absolutely. And they're funded by leftists. They're funded by, it's so interesting, white, leftist, socialist. They're not benefiting, they rake in hundreds of millions of dollars. Where does that money go?
It was a huge scam also. I think the main guy that was in charge of
financing a house and things. There's
bought a new car and all that. Must be nice.
Yeah, it must be nice to do that. But I'd like to know where that money goes. Where does all that money goes that they raise? And so that's a very interesting question. But people get caught up in the emotion of supporting Black Lives Matter. And by all means, from a biblical standpoint, let's be perfectly clear here. Black Lives Matter, the organization is Marxist and racist and socialist. Let's just be perfectly honest.
It's a shame what the organization has done, because there are injustices out there that need to be righted. Not all police officers are great. Not all reporters are great. Not all people are great. But nobody deserves to be treated unfairly or to die at the hands of anyone else if they're innocent. Black Lives Matter has done a serious injustice to what could have been a very important movement, especially after the death of George Floyd. Something could have come out of that. And if you look at the greatest leaders of all time, Muhammad Gandhi, we have Martin Luther King, we have Rosa Parks, they were led through peaceful protest. And that is something they easily should have taken notes from. They had the numbers there, they had the mass of people, they had momentum. And then the second that they started this rioting, looting, fires, killing, so many innocent people killed, you lose all credibility. All credibility is out the door. And if anything, I think that's going to push conservatives and even moderates, people, undecided voters, further to vote for President Trump.
It's great that you just brought that up, because right now, think about it. There's Trump supporters and there's Biden supporters, but in the middle, there's a very slim well, I shouldn't say slim, it could be a huge percentage of people who, quite honestly, Liz, don't know who they're going to vote for. So it's the messages now that will sway them on either side.
I mean, think about it. What if Biden was in office? What do you think he would have done? I think absolutely nothing. That's what we've seen. That's what he has a proven track record of. Doing absolutely nothing, calling a lid for 5 days, sitting in his basement. President Trump was armed and ready to do whatever it takes to protect these businesses, to protect these people, to protect the American way of life and our economy. If Biden is elected, we do not have that security. And that sense of security, for someone like me who has lived in third world countries, I've lived in Brazil, I've lived in India. Brazil, more recently, as a youngish adult, I didn't feel comfortable at all walking down the streets by myself. And for the first time in my life in America, I felt that same way. In Atlanta, Georgia, my friends and I were scared to go to dinner, scared to go out, because we didn't know what would happen. I never in a million years thought I was going to get that feeling in the United States. Unfortunately, we did, and I thank God almost every single day that President Trump is here and is willing to do whatever it takes to restore the security and the promise in the future of America.
I'm so glad you said that. One word you're going to hear a lot about in this rally is the word China. And it obviously goes back from the China virus, the plague, the China plague, but also communist China and its ties to Joe Biden. And of course, we've heard a speaker so far today talk about the connection between Joe Biden and communist China and how China will ultimately take over this country. And they are literally taking over tech companies. They're censoring what we put out. We're censoring our social media. So tonight, you're going to hear President Trump talk a lot about China and about how the way we need to break away and control them. It's interesting with TikTok. I'm not sure if you're on TikTok or not. I got off TikTok because I did not want the Chinese having my personal information. I don't know if you're on there or not.
Okay, so my parents, 6 months ago, I was talking with them. My dad goes, "You better not have that China propagation app on your phone." And I'm like, I loved it. I loved TikTok. I thought it was so funny. So I deleted it off my phone that I currently use with like my text messages, my WhatsApp, my RSBN accounts. So I don't have it on here, but I have it on my other phone that has nothing else. I wiped it, so I have a phone just for TikTok.
Yeah, but China will come up quite a bit today because it is about getting away from communist China and the influence. And of course, we all know, or perhaps we don't all know, about Hunter Biden's laptop. Now, Tucker Carlson nights ago had a great episode on Hunter Biden's emails and how there's so many verifications that say that's all true. Of course, you won't hear that from the mainstream media. My parents, I asked them just a few days ago what their thoughts were on the emails, and they had never even heard of it. And I am absolutely amazed at how many people in this country know nothing about Hunter Biden and the Biden's connection, how corrupt. They actually make the Clintons look like Disneyland compared to the corruption that they're involved in.
It's disgusting. I heard earlier also, and it brought up a good point, these mainstream media networks are showing their true colors more so not by what they're saying, but what they're not saying. The fact that so many people are refusing to air this or give it even a hint of existence. And it's similar with what Tucker Carlson is doing with his investigations. Tommy, I can't pronounce his last name, but these are very real situations between the laptop, Hunter's disgusting laptop from hell, Biden's crime families deals with Ukraine, where he's and China getting millions of dollars. And
they even have him on tape saying if that prosecutor's not getting fired, you're not getting the money. Like that's what's happening right now. And the mainstream media refuses to talk about that. And that's why, Liz, that's why behind us, all these people are here, and that's why you guys watch us right now, and we're so thankful for that, because we're showing you the crowds. We're telling you the truth. We're breaking down the stereotypical banners, which, by the way, we talked about this walking in real quickly. The latest news, of course, was it yesterday that Lil Wayne had come out, hip-hop star Lil Wayne, to support the president. Now, when you first think that, like, I'm not a big Lil Wayne fan, all right? I'm just not. But here's what's important here, folks. The message is getting down to the black community that for years they have thought that the Democratic Party was a party for African Americans, and in fact, it is not the party for African Americans. They have not done much. President Trump has done more in his term than the Democrats have done for African Americans. Barack Obama was in office for 8 years. The unemployment rate for African Americans was skyrocketed. More people on food stamps, more people on any kind of government assistance. Trump comes in there, flips it around, and all of a sudden they're upset. People, you need to wake up. Anyway, so what's your thoughts on Lil Wayne and his endorsement of President Trump?
Oh, hold on.
You have a tweet we're going to show you?
No, I want to show you guys the background on my phone, but I have to clear out my messages first. All right, this is what I think about it. All right.
Get a little bit shot of that.
I think it's great. I also, I hate to be a hypocrite, but here I am. We go from saying, it doesn't matter what these Hollywood elites say or who they endorse, but this is different. This is a leader, a iconic hip-hop performer who is going completely against the grain and completely against the mainstream narrative. I feel like it's even significantly different than, say, a country music artist, a white country music artist coming out predictable.
But when you look at like the Dixie Chicks or the band that even changed their name.
They changed their name, I think.
Yeah, but the other band, I can't remember right now. But that's the wokeness that's happened in the music industry, and it just shows how shallow they are and how uninformed they are with everything.
Absolutely. I think just in the past week alone, Don't quote me, because obviously these people, they're not 1,000% endorsements. It's not like they came out and publicly said, I support President Trump. But you can assume so from their post. We have 4 main icons in that movement. We have Flock of Flame, Ice Cube, 50 Cent, and Lil Wayne, also known as Wheezy F Baby.
Yes.
So these 4 guys, I mean, they are absolute icons. I can rap almost to all of their songs growing up. These are the last people that I would have ever thought would come out and support for President Trump within the week of this re-election. They really do have that. It's a tough choice for them. As with most celebrities, anyone with a fan base, because automatically they can easily alienate 50% of their fan base, if not more. Exactly.
Oh, Taylor Swift's a great example of that. I mean, Taylor Swift came out last year and just railing on in the midterms. And I know for a fact, look, I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. Like, I've been to several shows. I got a daughter when she was little. We went to a bunch of shows. But I was completely turned off by her because she's just doing that to pander to the music industry so that she's woke, right? And so that she won't be canceled, because cancel culture.
I don't even know if I hate to argue with you, but I don't even know if she's doing that just for them. I feel like she's actually brainwashed enough to think.
Good point. That might be it.
I think she's actually doing it. But also notice everyone she's come out and publicly endorsed, not a winner.
No, not a winner at all. But I love it when celebrities do step out. Matter of fact, we saw Ice Cube just today turn down a Kamala Harris rally, like a Zoom call, because he didn't want to be used. And that's exactly what they were doing. Look at Cardi B. What the hell does Cardi B have anything to do with Joe Biden? Think about this.
I wish I didn't like her music.
I can't stand her. I think she's talentless. That's just me, though. I get the beats and the rhythm. I get all that, right? It's a music, right? But at the end of the day, the average American person can give a rat's you-know-what about Cardi B. And actually could probably give a rat's you-know-what about Lil Wayne. But the Lil Wayne is symbolic for choosing policies over personal preferences as far as personalities. Because, look, I gave a great example here. When they say conservatives are racist, I go, let me tell you something. I'll take an African American for president. That might even be. Give me an LGBTQ African American for president for the rest of the years I walk this earth, because I know their heart is conservative. The heart's right. I don't care about the color of your skin.
I can identify as a giraffe for all I care.
I don't care. As long as your heart is in the right place, that's all that should matter. But we have identity politics on the left. That's the only thing that does matter. Your sexuality matters. Your skin color matters. Your sexual preference, who you want to go to sleep with at night, what bathroom you walk in. That's the only thing that matters to the left. Conservatives, it doesn't make a difference, Liz.
And that brings up a point, I think. We're talking about what's in your heart, being a good person. I think something that's coming up in the news that's making a lot more clear and evident lately is the lack of a decent person Joe Biden is.
Oh my goodness. Joe Biden, I was having this conversation with a friend yesterday, and I said, I kind of feel sorry for Joe Biden. And they said, why would you say that? Because he's had 47 years of very destructive policies. It's been self-enriching. He's had stuff that enriched his own family. He has used America to benefit himself. Don't feel sorry for that man at all. Obviously, if he's got some mental decline, we should all, for health purposes, we should feel sorry for that. But that man has made the bed that he lays in. He has done this to himself. His wicked policies, his backdoor deals, the Hunter Biden. Look, their story is amazing. Look, there's sadness in his story. The loss of life, there's sadness there. But there's choices that Hunter has made and Biden and Joe Biden has made that they lay in that bed they've made, and that is something we should all consider on November 3rd.
All very good points. I also just feel like at this point in his life, the hell he's gone through and the way he's acting, just not mentally there. He looks heartbroken. He look like every time I see him speaking, his eyes are just screaming, "Help me!" I
think that's why he wears sunglasses, to be honest with you, because he's got a kind of a gaze look in his eye, and I love the little fake jog as he jogs up to the podium. As 3 people honk their horn.
He's a puppet.
He's a total puppet, because we all know that 25th Amendment they talked about a couple of weeks ago. That's not for Trump. That's for Biden. They want to push him out, push the old white liberal out, and the squad takes over, and all these radical policies for our economy, the Green New Deal. Are you kidding me? how many thousands of jobs would be lost in this country?
The flip-flopping he's doing, because now apparently he doesn't support the Green New Deal.
Oh yeah, and of course, and then fracking.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fracking. Oh, I didn't say that. And
Flip a coin that day to figure out which policies.
yeah, right. And you'll see that on the screen list because President Trump will show the videos of all the flip-flopping that's going on in the Biden campaign, and you'll see that today when he takes the stage. I don't know. I know that Trump left a little late from his previous rally, so obviously, which gives us plenty of time for the crowd to build in, because right now it is building in. It's getting a lot to overflow. But that's what you're going to see today. The message is perfectly clear. November 3rd, you vote for freedom or you vote for socialism. It's as simple as that. And for a Christian, it means the world to me. It means pro-life. It means the right for life. It means a Judeo-Christian value in this country. It means we have law and order. We put our faith in God, not the government. And that is why leftists and Marxists don't like conservatism, because we put our faith in God. They put their faith in the people, the government, the people who run it. And that's a big difference.
Absolutely. Speaking of liberties, we know that our Second Amendment is under siege. Now more than ever, liberals are trying to take away gun rights, and they're also trying to defund the police. People are falling victim left and right to intimidation, and then they're being forced to fend for themselves because of the Democrats and the policies they're trying to enact. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. Most of us don't have the time to train. Plus, let's face it, ammo is very expensive. This is all part of the reason why iTarget Pro was invented. They use a proprietary app and a laser bullet, so you can now train safely in the comfort and convenience of your own home. iTarget Pro comes in all major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the code SAVE10. That's SAVE10. Again, you can get 10% off plus free shipping if you use code SAVE10. That's SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days. That's the letter I, targetpro.com. Again, the letter I, targetpro.com. Make sure you write down this code SAVE10. SAVE10. I get so many messages about it afterwards. They're like, Liz, what is that coupon deal? All right, that is it. Save 10. The letter I, targetpro.com. Check them out. Perfect time to order. Get everything in before Christmas. Again, this is a great way for you to practice firearm safety and shooting accuracy in the comfort and safety in your own home. Truly incredible. I also want to say thank you to everyone who has donated to Right Side Broadcasting Network via our website. I'm going to read some of those website donations out really quick and give some shout outs. It's not too late to get your donations in. We're going to be accepting them all day. We're almost entirely viewer funded, so we do rely on your donations to stay in business, and we have around 20 rallies left covering President Trump's historic 2020 presidential campaign. Your donations are what allow us to travel to these great states and broadcast President Trump's message to hundreds of millions of people. So thank you to Lady Sierra, who said, "Go Trump 2020. Dana said, "Keep up the incredible work, praying for strength for your team to finish out the rally strong." Christine Donovan Hall said, "Thank you for all you do for American patriots." Pamela Groff said, "MAGA." Con Wynn said, "Thank you so much for all you do. I love your coverage so much, and I love to see you young people out there spreading the good news and patriotism." We have Joyce Rose, who said, "Thank you, RSBN. I love watching the rallies." And Connie Yolinsky said, "Thank you, RSBN. When Trump wins re-election, RSBN needs to be represented in the White House press. President Trump and the American people deserve it." I sure hope so. Ashwin Shinoy said, "Thank you, RSBN. Trump rocks 2020. Linda Harris said, "Thank you for all you do to cover the rallies." Liz and all the other hosts, thank you. My absolute pleasure. I'm going to be so sad when these rallies are over. Tim Tugwell said, "Louisiana for Trump 2020. Rebecca Pacey said, "Love our great president, and thank you, RSBN, for the great coverage." Lorraine Osborne said, "Thank you and God bless." Mark Dio said, "Everyone donate to RSBN." We have Yelbert Inlet, who donated, and Caro Nippon, who said, our great President Trump has done a fantastic job. I voted for him in 2016, and I'm definitely voting for him again this coming Tuesday. Love you, my favorite president. Alan and Barbara Jarrett donated as well, so thank you very much. We have Shannon Keppel, Donald Allen, Andrea Wargo, Annabelle Quaison. We have Tess, Bill and Linda Burns, Fred Flicken, Jennifer and Jim Smith, Karen, Alan and Barbara Jarrett, and George Durlam, Debbie Williams, Make California Red, Ian Powell and Elizabeth Pollock. Oh, you guys are being so supportive. Thank you so much. Ray Don Browns, Johnny Edwards, thank you. Alan Jarrett. Alan Jarrett said, Liz, it's Bobulinski. Bobulinski. Okay, got it. Noted. Louise Lowe, thank you. Alan and Rosemary Fickler, Canadians for Trump. And Alan Jarrett, absolutely killing it. Bonnie Winslow, Zach in Mississippi, Benjamin Fanlum, and Miriam. Thank you. I think that wraps it out. We're going to get some more, and I'm going to continue reading those all the way up, leading until President Trump takes the stage here today. So let me refresh that. Go ahead. If you want your shout out, make sure to go to our website, www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. Again, that's www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. We are almost entirely viewer funded, meaning we rely on your donations to keep us going from rally to rally across this incredible nation, covering President Trump's historic 2020 campaign. Looks like we have some waving going on. Let's see here. I do know that we will not be having a Air Force One moment. It will not be behind the stage today. So just a heads up to our cameraman. He'll be motorcading over here.
Okay.
And let's see. Looks like the last press pool alert I got was at 2:42. POTUS's motorcade left the rally site, first rally site of the day, this is the second, and he arrived at Air Force One at 2:45, where they boarded for Green Bay, and they were wheels up shortly. What would you say the flight time is from Green Bay? Where were they in Michigan?
Yeah, I would say they'd probably be here within the 40 minutes probably. We're probably running a little bit behind, but we talked about this earlier. That's what happens when you're the second tour stop of the day, right?
Yeah.
If you're the first tour stop of the day, likelihood you're going to take the stage on time. But as that gets pushed back, and Liz, you've been doing this forever. These speeches don't stay on the teleprompter. They go off quite a bit. So he will go off.
Oh, Air Force One. Air Force One coming in hot. Right behind these poles.
There you go. Swing around. It's coming in pretty low.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Got excited. I'm hoping it's Air Force One. Looks like we're going to get a quick shot of her flying in. Not running too far behind for such a busy man.
Wait, that is not Air Force.
Is that not?
No, that's not Air Force.
I'm giving the microphone away.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak in public anymore.
Yeah, that is not Air Force One. But let me tell you something, Liz. To your credit, I cannot imagine them allowing a lot of planes flying in right now. That's the thing. We've been doing this long enough to know. We saw in Bullhead City, Arizona, we saw F-35s fly by, and the next thing you know, we saw a small Cessna, I guess, flying in the area. So to your credit, you know what? I would have said that was Air Force One. So you get a day pass on that. That is not your fault.
Break for embarrassment.
No, it's not an embarrassment, because anybody would think that a plane landing on the airstrip in front of a Trump rally is probably Air Force One. But nevertheless, he is on his way here shortly, and it should be exciting. Hey, to set the stage again, welcome if you're just now joining us. We are live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. I am Brian Glenn, she is Liz Willis, and we can't wait to bring all this action straight to you. And of course, this is stop 2 for the president on this very important swing. I mean, Liz, we got 4 days left of the election. This president is not slowing down. Now, to Joe Biden's credit, He is crawling out of his bunker later today, and he is going to campaign somewhere. I think he's in Florida, maybe. I may be corrected on that, but he is trying to campaign.
That's fair. I don't know, it just makes me cringe. I can't picture it going well. One of the biggest things, I don't really have enough time to watch his campaign. I'm too busy covering President Trump, and his is huge. It's everywhere. So I actually got a few moments. I was sitting down watching Fox News. They were airing Obama's speech live from Florida. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I wasn't as involved in politics before President Trump, because it was boring, it was bad, it seemed coerced, forced. I mean,
my 16-year-old daughter can write his campaign speech. It is full of rhetoric. It's full of predictable campaign lines that you've heard from a politician over the last 47 years. That's what you get with a Joe Biden speech. That's what you get. It's very predictable. It's very predictable, low energy. And of course, you know, I really think that they use COVID and social distancing to really mask the fact that I don't think they could pull a crowd anywhere like this.
No, and I really think they thought, like, hell yeah, we have COVID coming to the U.S. This is gonna hurt the economy so bad. This is gonna look so bad for President Trump. There's no way he's gonna be able to resurrect himself from this situation. But the man handled it like a boss. He closed travel to China before anyone else would have even thought about it.
And was criticized doing it.
To the point where they called him racist for doing so. He has these huge pharmaceutical companies working on vaccines while at the same time telling them, hey, we're not paying a lot for any more of your crap. You know, you're going to be honest about drug prices. You're going to lower them. The U.S. is going to pay what Europe is paying. But get this vaccine out, save my people. He's showing us how you can still function and deal with the virus. You have to be a leader. You have to be strong. You have to show confidence in the face of adversity. And you can't show fear when your position is President of the United States. They're mad at him for not crying about it, but I think he handled it the way a leader has to, like a mom. When the child is hurt, the mom has to be tough for the child, and that's what President Trump did. He took all the hits, and he constantly takes the hits and the punches and the hard blows, but continue to stand up and fight for the American people and to lead by example. And I mean, look.
Yeah, the crowd is here. And he'll say this during the crowd. He'll say, hey, I had COVID, I'm here. And he'll talk about Barron Trump as well, how he had it and he recovered. So we're going to talk about all that today as well. But yes, the fact of the matter is the left has weaponized COVID-19 and the shutdowns to hopefully benefit them. And I think it's actually backfired. But I think American people have now said, you know what? We're kind of making through this. And obviously we've had deaths, and of course, people with high risk categories that need to self-isolate or social distance, or matter of fact, just stay home. Large part of that, the people that are in that high risk category, they've been dealing with this their entire life. Think about this. If you have an immune disorder and you have some type of thing where you're highly infectious, you've been dealing with this your entire life. So you continue to do that, and we'll continue to open up this economy, because let's talk about the mental effects of all of this. Suicide rate, 1 in 4 teens have contemplated suicide in the last year. That's 1 in 4. That's 25% of our young people are considering killing themselves because of the depression, the isolation due to shutdown. That is destructive.
Yeah, President Trump has hit on that a lot. The repercussions that are coming with, like you said, staying in your home. People, a lot of them, before COVID, they didn't have the mental stability to be able to handle that. And that's okay. It's okay to, not be 100% stable. Most people aren't. You need to go outside. You need to be with your friends. You need sunshine. That is so important. You need to be busy. You need to work. You need to fulfill yourself and what you need. And you need to go to church and have that relationship with the Lord, and to be amongst other people, to have those relationships. I feel so bad for my grandparents. I haven't been able to hug them in like 6 months, especially with this job. And it's not to say be stupid and go out and lick the floor. It's just saying essentially do what you would do during any flu season.
Exactly.
Wash your hands, cover your mouth when you sneeze, take a shower every now and then. If you start to feel sick or drowsy, take your vitamins, go to the doctor. There's so many, it just doesn't make sense. But also, Brian, what happened to the common cold and the flu? We don't seem to have any cases of that this year.
It seemed to go away.
No flu.
No flu. I'm waiting for them to start counting headlights cases. How many people have headlights? That's what I'm waiting to hear. I don't know. Maybe that'll be the next plate, the headlight plate. let's talk about the business shutdown of the economy. I just read yesterday that IHOP was closing some locations as well. IHOP. And so, yeah, we're trying to get out of the way and get to a clear season. IHOP's closing. Applebee's has had some closing. And it's one of those situations that how destructive this shutdown has been on small business. And I have a theory on this, and I've heard it in the conservative viewpoints as well. Follow me on this. Politicians traditionally don't care about small business, right? Because they're not the ones that are making these major donations to companies. They don't really care, air quotes, if they shut down. They're more concerned about big business. Well, this virus has been so destructive to small businesses, and we've seen, I don't care where you live right now. Matter of fact, tag where you live right now, and if you know anybody that has closed their business, say, I know somebody. I knew a business that closed down. Maybe you have a business that closed down. I'm sorry if that happened. But this has been so destructive to small business owners. We have got to get this economy opened up again. And of course, the second stimulus that is just stuck there right now because Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats refuse to come to the table and get this going. There's a lot of people right now that are hurting.
I want to say... Go
ahead, I can't read it. I can't read it.
Dan Scavino gave us a huge shout out.
Oh, cool.
So everyone on Twitter, make sure you go and check out this recent tweet from Dan Scavino, his official Twitter account. He said, let's do it at RSB Network. You've been there since the very, very beginning. Thank you. And I want all of you to go show his tweet some love. Let him know. I mean, obviously, huge. We love it. We very rarely get kind of the, what would it be called?
Kind of a tier one type of reach on social media.
Of course, we're here in the media pen at all of President Trump's rallies, and rightfully so. He's like, you guys are all fake news. So often we get embodied into that group of fake news. So it's incredible to get a shout out every now and then, especially from Dan Scavino, recognizing our hard work since even before this election, 2016 election alone, Right Side Broadcasting Network had over 300 million views. Air Force One has just landed, and you guys missed it. So sorry about that. I caught the very tail end. She landed over there. But the president is here, ladies and gentlemen. Air Force One has landed, and again, I believe they will be motorcading over, so you'll be able to see that coming from that direction towards behind the stage. So not too late.
No, and typically it takes a few minutes for the press corps to unload and some of the staff members to unload, make their way to the stage. So we're probably 8 to 15 minutes away from that. But I want to touch upon about the mainstream media, about the cancel culture that has come out. Just recently when The Rock came out and supported Joe Biden, I just about spit out my coffee and said, wait a minute, the very person that I think represents the American dream, someone that plays college football, that goes into Hollywood, becomes a movie star, becomes a role model for being a dad, being a husband, being a professional in Hollywood, standing for morals and what's right in our culture. And then you come out and you support Joe Biden for president. How weak is that? Is it because you're afraid of cancel culture? Is it because you're afraid your career might suffer from that? I applaud every celebrity right now, either in the music industry, in Hollywood, that comes out and makes a stance. Kirstie Alley, I read just this morning that she endorses Trump, quoted that he makes common sense. He's a common sense president. There's a lot of things on the ballot right now, and depending on what state you live in, they took straight party ticket voting out of the equation. So you've got to go down and read and vote for these particular races. People, we've got to pay attention here. November 3rd is so important to our democracy, to our freedoms, to our liberty. Our religious freedoms are at stake. We've seen just the other day, 3 or 4 people killed in France by a terrorist. What do you think the reaction would be in this country under a Biden-Harris administration that protects terrorists, that protects people that want to attack our religious freedoms. Our country is founded on Judeo-Christian values. Everything that we have in our society is based off Judeo-Christian. What's right, what's wrong, good, evil. Okay? That is what's at stake. I just want to be perfectly clear with you folks. And if you're a Christian, evangelical vote needs to come out big time. I had Charlie Kirk on the other day. We talked about this. 30 million Christians did not vote in the 2016 election. That is a huge number. That number could swing it. If we get that percentage, we increase on African Americans, which we have, thanks to a lot of his policies, prison reform, things like that, going into the community, investing in African American communities around the country, rebuilding their communities. You're seeing measures like that have made this president the most pro-black president we've had in history. And I love it when celebrities come out and endorse this president. So props to all of the Lil Waynes of the world, the Ice Cubes of the world, and I'm probably missing various other ones as well. But they truly make a difference. Set the scene here again. I am Brian Gunn. That's Liz Willis. She is camera to the right, working on some notes here. She'll step in. You are just
on social media.
You took the thoughts right out of my head, because it's so important to engage in social media, and that's exactly what you do. I've got between my gloves and my very poor eyesight, it's hard for me to see my phone. So thank God that you're doing it right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I do almost all of RSBN's. No, well, I'm not going to say that. I do their Instagram social media. Our CEO Joe Seals runs the Twitter social media, but I assist when he's busy. So he is a man of many hats. Today he's producing, travel planning, coordinating, taking care of all our correspondence. So I was just making sure that we are retweeting Dan Scavino and just making sure our engagement across all platforms is out there. So if you want to, kind of connect with us on more ways than just the stream, we would love that. We are a conservative news network, very small manpower, much smaller than most people have any idea. So we would appreciate all the love and support you can give. And it's always important to have these numbers, these followers, the viewership count, the likes, even commenting, believe it or not, actually goes into the algorithm. It's crazy, but anything more than 3 words, any comment more than 3 words actually goes into this calculated mathematical algorithm that'll help boost your post or your stream or your tweet so that more people will be able to see it. It's crazy. So much goes into it, especially conservative. Okay, I'm on a rant about that. Anyways, just follow us on Twitter and Instagram at RSB Network. Help us out, show us some
It's
love.
interesting you say that, because I've noticed at this rally here, there's less mainstream media here. Because you know why?
Look how empty. Yeah,
because we're 4 days away from the election. Let's see if we can get a shot of that. Let's swing the camera now.
This front riser is actually where mainstream media is supposed to be. So it's reserved for outlets like Fox, CNN, ABC, MSNBC. Right, the ones I can see, those are the White House up front. So it looks like out of every major mainstream news, only Fox News showed up.
What you're looking at right now is where the mainstream media would be set up. Right now, they're not here. We've got Fox behind us, which has been very supportive for the president. Obviously, they're one of the truth speakers there. But that's why Right Side Broadcasting is here, to show you all of this, show you what you wouldn't see in a traditional newscast. But right here, you see it all unfiltered, and we're happy to bring it to you as well. We're moments away, I guess, from him landing. I know he took off a little late, as the president has done. And let's think about this, Liz. We're 4 days away. This president is still campaigning just as strong as if it was 2015 campaign season. It's fresh. His message is fresh. His message has a lot of energy. It's very hopeful. It's very pro-America. And I think he hasn't missed a step since he came down that escalator in New York City.
What amazes me about President Trump? There's a lot of things. I think he's a genius. It's insane. But just from watching him talk and him being able to be so witty and on the spot all the time and know exactly where he is. He makes fun of Biden a lot for not knowing where he is, but being on the campaign trail trying to keep up with Trump, I don't know where I am half the time.
We don't know where we're going tomorrow, and that's honest and truth. Think about this. Before the debate, Biden needed about 5 or 6 days to prepare for the debate. Biden, you've been in office for 47 years. If you can't step on the stage right now and debate every topic, then I'm not sure you need to be in politics. President Trump said, and I love this about him, he goes, I debate everybody every day. That's a part of his life. He doesn't need any time to prepare for that. Joe Biden spent 5 or 6 days in the basement preparing for a debate. That's inexcusable.
He surely doesn't win debates. He might think he's debating. He's not doing anything. Something also about Biden, while we're on the topic of it, we mentioned it earlier and I wanted to bring up the point. I don't remember the exact conversation, but do we even know yet what policies he's actually standing behind?
You don't know his list of Supreme Court nominations. You don't know that. He said he'll tell you when the election's over. See, let me tell you something, folks. They think they've got this election in the bag. They look at these polls, and we know how inaccurate those polls are. They think they're going to win, people. You are the deciding factor on November 3rd. Your vote, and you're right to your point. He doesn't release anything. He doesn't. It's secretive. It's all secretive.
It's absolutely insane. It's crazy that people are still voting for a man that clearly doesn't even have the desire to campaign hard and fight for that office, nor do they even know what the policies that he plans to enact. But now is the time to just make sure that you're prepared on all fronts and you know who you're voting for. Get that vote done. Lock it in for President Trump. I also want to take a quick moment before things get crazy to give a shout out to our partners over at iTarget Pro. If you've been watching the news, then you know innocent people are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and they're being forced to defend for themselves because Democrats and the left are successfully defunding the police. When the government can't or won't protect your family, self-defense is the only option. Most of us don't have time to consistently train. Plus, let's face it, ammo is crazy expensive. But this is why iTarget Pro was invented. They use a proprietary app and a laser bullet combined so you can train in the comfort and safety of your very own home. iTarget comes in all major calibers, including .223 and .556, so you can stay sharp with almost any firearm. Today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping. The offer code is SAVE10. That's SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days. That's the letter I at targetpro.com. Again, I at targetpro.com. RSBN viewers, this is for you. Make sure to use code SAVE10. That's SAVE10 at checkout for that free shipping and that money off. You guys work hard for your money. We want to make sure you keep as much of it as possible as opposed to what Joe Biden wants to do it. So check them out, I at targetpro.com. I want to take a quick moment to jump in the super chat and give some shout outs to those who are donating via the super chat. So if you see me looking down, I am reading your guys' comments and I do really appreciate them. Again, before I jump into here, I want to say thank you for having me on here today. I will probably have to skedaddle during President Trump's speech because I have a 4:30 flight to Pennsylvania. I'll be live from the Reading, Pennsylvania rally tomorrow for President Trump, one of 4 campaign stops in Pennsylvania for President Trump tomorrow. So I may not be here for the wrap-up, but I have so enjoyed being here in the great state of Wisconsin, bringing you President Trump's rally today. Hopefully you guys can keep up with me on my social media and interact with me there. Tune in today to see all the behind-the-scenes traveling of what it takes to keep up with President Trump on the campaign trail. You can follow me on Instagram. I am at Liz Willis. That's LIZWILLIS. You can also find me on Twitter at LizWillis_. I use both of them all the time. I'm a millennial. I'm addicted. What to do? Let's just help each other out, have some fun, and enjoy the next 4 days, making sure everyone gets out and vote. All right, gonna get these donations going. I see 62,000 of you tuned in right now, so I appreciate all of you for watching. We have a donation from Albert Kalhouse, so thank you. New member Scott Kahn, awesome Scott. Vinny Pots and Hands said God's angels in the air support RSBN and Trump. God is Trump favored. Trump is God favored. Trista Choi. Andy said thank you for all you do. We have $50 from Doc Shrum. He said great job RSBN. God bless our president, his family, and all the loud and proud patriots. I am donating the same to every rally until the election, and I challenge every patriot to do the same. Thank you so much. We have around 20 rallies coming up, trying to keep up with President Trump's campaign, It's absolutely insane. This is historic, though, so I'm so glad that you guys are watching it. I can almost guarantee we may never see something like this again in our lives. We have 4 days left to re-elect President Trump, a man that has fought so hard every single day. Not once did he wake up and not do something historic. It's absolutely phenomenal. He doesn't call 5 day leads like the Biden campaign. Razor's Edge donated and said, U.S. vets for Trump. Thank you, America. And we have another $100 donation. So if you want to shout out, make sure you get that YouTube super chat in. You can see some dancers having fun at President Trump's rally, waiting for President Trump to get up there and take the stage. Lots of excitement here today, and they're staying warm, getting some dancing. They're doing the Trump dance.
That's exactly what it looks like. Hey, we need to point out that Brett Favre, Hall of Famer Brett Favre, came out and endorsed the president, which is great because, you know, a lot of people have been against, he wants you to come down, Liz. He really wants you to dance with him, doesn't he? That's all I got, too. You do not want me on camera right now dancing. I can assure you that. You do not want me down there. But thanks, thumbs up to that guy. Of course, the energy is high here as we are waiting for Air Force One to come in here right behind us. And, of course, we talked about how ways that you can get involved. We certainly appreciate all your participation. Hey, wherever you're watching, tag us, tag a friend. To reset the stage, we are live, Green Bay, Wisconsin, awaiting President Trump's arrival. I am Brian Glenn. She is Liz Wellis, and we are glad you are watching us today as yet we are 4 days away from the most important election of our lifetime. Your liberty, your freedoms on the stage. It's at the state. You can be the ultimate juror in deciding which direction this country can come, and we certainly appreciate your involvement with all of that because you've got to get out and vote. Many of you right now, it might be the first time you've ever voted. And there's a lot of Gen Z is coming out huge in this election, and they could be a big difference maker as well, as we always see new voters, a good percentage of new voter registrations making a difference in each ballot. So historically through each election, rather. So hopefully that will continue as well. But we are here, we are waiting, and we are glad that you're watching us as well. We'd like to know what is engaged you personally. What do you like about President Trump the most? And a lot of people say it's about their jobs. It's about getting kids back in school. But some states, this homeschool thing, it gets old. When the kids need to be socialized, they need to be back in school. Is it the small business? Is it the stimulus package? Is it immigration? Is it the wall? We had Rick Suit with me on the last stop I made. Rick Suit was talking about how that was a big, the border wall was a big topic with him and a lot of people in Southern California because illegal immigration is a real issue. It is a real issue. People that have immigrated here legally do not want people here illegally. It's like, I give this analogy and I'm going to break it down as simple as I can. If you're at the grocery store and you're in a checkout line and if the line is long, you've been waiting for a while, then all of a sudden someone walks in front of everybody that's in line, throws some money on the counter and takes their product, or maybe they don't even throw money on the counter, they take the product and walk out their store. You go, wait a minute, we got to get in line. We're doing this legally. We're doing it the right way. That is what illegal immigration is doing. It is taking away jobs, it's taking away opportunities for people that are doing it the right way. And of course, he said time after time, there have been a lot of bad people, is what he likes to call it, come across this border. MS-13, the way he's cracked down on gangs, that has been a big issue as well. It's been something that he's tackled. Terrorism, he'll talk about that as well, as far as what he's done, wiping out ISIS. And remember back in the Obama administration, they kept saying that how are you going to destroy ISIS? And you're just going to go over there and, it's bigger than you think. He has done amazing things in terms of that. I also want to talk about, did you see the story that Walmart has stopped selling guns and ammo? Now, that is right now a direct response in how this country is in a certain situation where we don't know what the reaction will be after this election. We know as conservatives and as Republicans, if the election doesn't go our way, we're going to go about our lives. We're going to go to work the next day, and we're going to keep fighting for freedom. But the left has been perfectly clear that if this election doesn't go their way, they're going to go violence. We're going to turn our cameras around to the side. I think we're getting some kind of indication that we could be getting. Do we have any indication that we have a plane? We do. Okay, we've been notified that we have some indication. What's that? Oh. There we go. So we got the motorcade.
Reminder, you guys, make sure before President Trump comes and takes the stage that you check out itargetpro.com. Last reminder, while President Trump is coming in, check out itargetpro.com because people are falling victim to crime left and right. There's intimidation, and they're being forced to fend for themselves. The government may not be able to protect your family. You'll rely on self-defense, and you need to make sure that you're ready. This is why iTarget Pro was invented. They use a proprietary app and a laser bullet, so you can train safely in the convenience of your own home with your own actual firearm. It comes in all major calibers. Today you can get 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. That's SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in just a few days. That's the letter I, targetpro.com. Again, the letter I, targetpro.com. RSBN viewers, this one is for you. Make sure that you use code SAVE10 at checkout for free shipping and 10% off. That's SAVE10. You can see the motorcade whipping right on in. Right now, we are seconds away from President Trump taking the stage here today in Green Bay, Wisconsin, the second rally of the day. Don't forget, we will have a third rally in just a few hours from Rochester, Minnesota. President Trump is absolutely killing it on the campaign trail, and we are so excited to bring you that one. We also have a big surprise for our loyal RSBN viewers. It will be live at the Rochester, Minnesota rally, so stay tuned. You do not want to miss this. In the meantime, make sure that you guys have gotten your donations in. This is a fundraising week for us. This is the most important week of our lives and your lives as well. But for RSBN to be able to finish our mission of getting to every single one of President Trump's rallies, we need your donations to make it from point A to point B. We're almost entirely viewer funded. So there are a number of ways you can get your donations in. The first one is that YouTube Super Chat. Click that $sign in the bottom right-hand corner of the YouTube live chat. Your donation will come up highlighted in the chat room and everyone will see it. It's so much fun. The second way is by going to our website. This is a great way to donate. You can check that out, www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. Again, that's www.rsbnetwork.com/donate. We get to keep around 90% of those proceeds, so it's a great way for you to make sure that your donation is really being used in its entirety. The third way is by sending a check. This is a non-electronic form of payment, so a lot of people prefer it, but you can send a check to 1550 Opelika Road, Suite 6, Box 344, Auburn, Alabama 36830. Moderators, thank you for being here today, for keeping our chat room fun, clean, and family friendly. If you don't mind dropping some of those addresses down below, as well as the iTarget Pro link. Getting so many questions about how they can donate and where they can buy the iTarget Pro. So moderators, hopefully you can help them out. Again, you're watching Brightside Broadcasting Network. We are live in Green Bay, Wisconsin, where President Trump's motorcade has arrived, and he will take the stage any second now to deliver his remarks. We are excited, and don't forget, this is the second rally of the day. I'm Liz Willis, and I'm going to have to be jetting out of here soon to get to Pennsylvania, where President Trump has 4 rallies tomorrow. Before I go, make sure you guys are subscribed to RSBN. Make sure you give us a big thumbs up and comment. All of your comments help us beat that big tech censorship on conservative news outlets, and it really just helps us to fight against the algorithm, and it shows people that you guys want to see more of President Trump, and that's exactly what we're here to do. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Liz Willis, LizWillis, for all my backstage traveling, and follow me on Twitter as well at Liz microphone over to Brian, who is going to bring you up to speed as President Trump arrives for his rally.
There you go. And of course, we are moments away, and this is probably my seventh or eighth time to see a rally. I kind of lose count, and quite honestly, Liz and I were joking earlier. We don't know where we're going to go tomorrow, even though the schedule was kind of set out that we do have some more rallies. But by a show of hands earlier, the majority of these people here, this is the first time they've seen the president in person, which is awesome. It's a great experience. As if you watch this right now and you've never seen the president, now is the time to share this broadcast. Tag a friend, because right now it is crucial for this undecided voter. That is what is at stake, because obviously a Trump supporter, you've been a fan of this president for a long time, but now we're at a pivotal point where the undecided voter, that's who the president is trying to reach now, that undecided voter. And so it's up to us, this broadcast, what we're seeing right now, to make that difference, because I can promise you that the left is using every media outlet, every social media way they can to get their message out for the Biden-Harris ticket. And thanks to Right Side Broadcasting, we're able to bring all of this to you, because there's a lot of people right now that wouldn't be able to see this if it wasn't for our cameras being here. So we're very grateful for that as well. I said earlier, what was one of the hottest topics on this presidential election? What was an issue that meant the most to you? Tag down below, write a comment on there, we'll read them back in a little bit. I was reading earlier, the right to life, reading that was a big issue to a lot of people, pro-life, and of course this is the most pro-life president in American history. And we've had presidents come out in the past that claimed they were pro-life and never really did the March for Life. We've had people talk about the fact that the president has moved the embassy, the American embassy to Jerusalem. That's something a lot of promised to do, and it never happened. This is the most pro-life president we have had, and probably the most pro-patriotic, pro-American president we've had, as we've seen all the foreign policies, all the things he's done for the academy.
President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea. From Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Wow, thank
What a beautiful crowd. Look at that. You can't even see the end of it. What a great crowd. Thank you very much. Hello, Wisconsin. We're back. We're back. We're going to win. We're going to win this state. We win this state, you know what? It's over. We win Wisconsin. I've treated Wisconsin very well. 4 days from now, we're going to win this state, and we are going to win 4 more beautiful years in the way. With your support, we will continue to bring back your jobs, cut your taxes, cut regulations, support our great police, defend our borders. Without borders, we don't have a country, do we? Protect our Second Amendment, protect religious liberty, and ensure more products are proudly stamped with those beautiful words, made in the USA. We're starting to do that. You remember I used to say 4 years ago, we're going to bring back the words, Merry Christmas. We did, right? Merry Christmas. Those big department stores, they're like Happy New Year. I said, no, you can say them both, but you can't do one without the other. Merry Christmas is back. You notice that, right? And pretty soon we're going to be there. Joe Biden will shut down your state's economy, wipe out your factories, ship your jobs to China. To China that's paid them off, by the way. China that's paid them off. You know that, right? Although you don't get too much news, but you get enough, you know what's going on. They don't like giving you the news. Punish your family with a $4 trillion tax hike. Eliminate private health care. 180 million people have private health care. They want to take it away. And send your state into a catastrophic, do you want to use the word recession or depression? Because the word is depression. Biden has vowed to eliminate the entire U.S. oil industry. No fracking, no energy, and gas prices going $5, $6, $7 for a gallon. How do you like $2 gasoline? Good? There'll be no heating in the winter, no air conditioning in the summer, and no electricity, whatever the hell you want it. Right now, you have it made. You're so lucky. You are so lucky I'm your president. And your team's doing a good job, right? They're doing a good job, right? They're doing a good job. And while I'm president, America will proudly remain energy independent. How does that sound? First time. You're energy independent. We're the biggest in the world. Nobody close. Biden will deliver poverty, misery, depression. I will deliver jobs, 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 and the greatest economy in the history of our country. That's going to be next year. You see it. Yesterday, it was announced last quarter, our economy grew at the astonishing speed, 33.1%, the largest GDP growth ever recorded, and not just by a little bit, by more than double. Right? And that was in 1952, but more than double. Think of it. It's never been anything like that for any country, not only ours. For any country. In the past 5 months, we've created a record 11.4 million American jobs. We have a super V. I used to talk about the V. This is no longer a V. This is a super V. This is despite the fact that the Democrat governors have states shut down, right? Gee, does that sound familiar to you? Middle-class family income is up more than $6,000 under my administration, far greater than the past administration. I mean, that was not up. That was doing very poorly. We created the greatest economy in history, and now we're doing it again. Make America great again, again. We did it once. That hat, see, that hat is now obsolete. It's called Make America Great Again, again. In a very recent poll, Gallup, they said 56% of Americans said they were doing better today than they were 4 years ago, and we're rounding the turn on a pandemic, and it's 56, and it's the highest number they've ever recorded. So we're doing something right. Joe Biden spent the last 47 years outsourcing your jobs, opening your borders, and sacrificing American blood and treasure in endless foreign wars in countries that most of you have never even heard of. I mean, think of it. And you know, at the debate, did anybody see the debate by any chance? So during the debate, he'd say, well, we're going to do this. I said, Joe, why didn't you do it? We're going to do that. We're going to do this and that, this and that. Joe, why didn't you do it, Joe? That was an easy debate. 91% to 9%, they said. That was good. That's like a great football game. No, I said, but Joe, why didn't you do it? Well, I don't know exactly. And then the last question was a disaster. Basically, he said, no more oil, no more fracking, no more anything. I said, did he say that? And I just said, we just left a great place. You know that? It was a little cold there. You know, this is like warm by comparison to that. This is a pleasure. This is a pleasure. That was cold. I said, let's cut this a little bit shorter. But we have a big crowd. You know, we had a big crowd no matter where we go. We have these massive crowds. And I'm going up to Minnesota. We're going to Minnesota, which we have a chance, not since 1972, think of it. So those are odds that aren't good, but they like us up there with the Iron Range, all the things I've done for them up there, and helping them when the rioters and anarchists attacked. We took over, and we did a great job. But they should have called us 2 weeks earlier, in all fairness. If they called us, federal government, if they called us 2 weeks earlier, that would have been nice, you know? You would have had no problem. It took us about, 25 minutes to solve the problem, right? Boom. They just marched out. But we're going, and the governor just informed us, though, that, so we have 25,000 people. 25,000 people, that's a lot. You got a lot here. 25,000 people in Minnesota. They said, we can only have 250 people. So they were hoping I'd say, oh, well, we can't do that. Let's turn around. No, we're going to go. We're going to go. Be a very interesting trip. Even if we see 250 people, can I be honest with you? Everybody understands. You can't play those games. That could very well, aside from Omar, Omar's our secret weapon. Ilhan Omar, that's our secret weapon in Minnesota. No, she doesn't love our country, you know? I don't like people that don't love our country, I don't. And the other, and you know all about this because you've had your things. The others, we want law and order. We got to have law and order. You look at what's going on in Philadelphia, you can't have that. You have to let the police do what they do. I mean, they have to do their job. When I watch that, again, Democrats, it's all Democrats. When I watch that, and people are looting stores, and you have the anarchists, the rioters, but they're looting stores, they're walking out with dishwashers. They're walking out, guy has a dishwasher, he couldn't even, he's pushing it. They're washing, I mean, they have television sets, and they're walking, and the police are standing there. And those police don't want to be standing there. They don't want to do that. They want to be able to do their job, but they're not. And you can't have that. We need law and order, as we had right here. As we did a very good job right here. We got the endorsement of everybody. Everybody in your state, every law enforcement group in your state endorsed us. I think every law enforcement group in the country endorsed us. I asked Sleepy Joe during one of the debates, I said, Joe, who endorsed you from law enforcement? And he couldn't answer the question. Now, that's possibly that happened, but he's got a very bad memory, too. He can't. He was going, let me think. Give me about 20 minutes. I'll figure it out. I doubt he has any. I think we have everybody. We have everybody. Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Chicago endorsed us. Isn't that nice? Chicago. With all the problems they have, and they have a great group of people from law enforcement. They could stop those problems. I mean, you see what's going on there. New York has gone through the roof. New York's finest. We have New York's finest. These are incredible police. They could do the job, but they have to be allowed to do the job. And they endorsed me. First time in the history of the police force in New York that they endorsed a presidential candidate. So it was pretty cool. So Joe Biden tried to cut Medicare during the course of his terms, and he worked very hard in cutting Social Security. You wouldn't believe that, right? and we actually put it up. We put it on, where is that screen? For places that we really like, we use the screen. It's very expensive. You'll see. Biden was a cheerleader for NAFTA, which is the worst trade deal ever made, and China's entry into the World Trade Organization, which cost Wisconsin 130 minimum manufacturing jobs. At every turn, Biden betrayed American workers and twisted his knife into the back of Wisconsin workers. You suffered as much as anybody. Biden's also spent half a century betraying black Americans. He devastated black families with the 1994 crime bill, and he called black youth super predators, a term that's a terrible term. Super predators over and over again. And then he wonders why they're not doing well with the black vote. You know, the black vote's not turning out for him. See, now we don't have to go by the fake polls. Now you see what's happening. He's not doing well with the black vote. You know why? Because they remember that, and they remember 1994, and they remember him calling everybody a super predator, and that's a term that they don't like. That's a term that nobody would like, but they're not showing up to vote, and others aren't either. You know, we're doing great in Florida. We're doing great in Ohio. We're doing great in North Carolina. It was fantastic. I think we're doing really good in Pennsylvania. We're doing very good in Pennsylvania. I think we're doing good all over the place. You want to know that? I think we're doing good all over. We're doing great here. You know, I think they just said to here we're either tied or one up, or tied or one down. You know, it's like essentially tied. I don't know how the hell I can be tied with this guy. He's shot. He's shot. They said, sir, you're tied in Wisconsin. You know, normally that means, because we have like a hidden voter, people that don't want to talk about it, they just go out and vote for Trump. I never knew. Should I be complimented by that? We don't want to talk about it. Leave us alone. We're voting for Trump, right? So when you're tied, that's a good thing. But they said, sir, we're tied. And I said, that's interesting. And then the fake Washington Post, ABC, right? Did you see that? So we are tied. I was up here 2 days ago. We gave a great speech. That was a cold one. We gave a speech on a racetrack. We got a lot of people, and it was freezing, but I got through that. There was no way that I leave early on the great people of Wisconsin, because you don't know about that. There was no way. Anyway, this poll, so we're tied. Let's say we're tied. One up, one down. We're right, boom, very close. I think we're going to take it easily, actually. I think we're going to take it because we're going to have a turnout probably on Tuesday. You know, our people like to vote. They like to vote on Tuesday, not even on Sunday or Monday. But so Washington Post and ABC, it's called Washington Post ABC poll. They come out 17 down. Donald Trump is 17 down in Wisconsin. I said, wait a minute. I just left a crowd of 25,000 people or more. They were going crazy. That wasn't a second place crowd. You know, we know a second place crowd. That was not a second place crowd. And they did it to me 4 years ago with Crooked Hillary. They had me, he's down 12 2 weeks ago, remember? Washington Post, ABC, crooked as hell. It's called suppression polls. You know what it does? It suppresses the vote. You get depressed. You like Trump. You know, I like the president, but let's, and in the case 4 years ago, I like Donald Trump. He's going to do a good job. We did more than we said we were going to do. We did more than any administration has ever done in the first 3.5 years. But it's a suppression thing. So they came out 12 down. We actually wrote them legal letters and everything, and then they changed the vote. Can you believe it? They changed it where we were 1 down. But that was the day before the election. 2 weeks ago, 12 down. But this one was 17 down in your state. And I said, you know, I could be 3 down. I could also be 3 up. I could be 3 down. I could be 4 down. I could also be 3 up or 4 up. One thing I know, I'm not 17 down. So I called up the best pollster, a guy, doesn't matter. Let's just call him John. His first name's John. I said, John, can I ask you a question? I just left Wisconsin. We had a tremendous crowd. It was like a love fest. And then I wake up, true, and then I wake up like 2 days later, and I see a poll, Washington Post, it's all over the place. You know, they love it, all the fake news. Look at all of them back. They're fake. Among the most dishonest people in the world. Now they have a new thing. They don't report. They don't report on, criminality like with the Biden crime family. They don't want to report. But fortunately, we have guys like Ron Johnson that are willing to say it like it is. It's true. It's actually very true what I just said. He's fantastic, but we'll get to him later. Your senator is fantastic. So you take a look, and I said, I'm not 17 now. And he's a really smart guy. He says, no, you're not. I said, but don't they have to pay a price? Like, they did it 12 down 4 years ago, and now said, isn't it a bad thing? He said, yeah, but they want you to lose. I said, well, why don't they make it that I'm 3 down or 2 down or, make it like believable? No, 3 down or 2 down is no good. Because if they go 3 down, 2 down, 4, even 5, I said, make it 5. He said, no good. Because that means you have a chance. That might even bring people out. They want to make it so bad. And they said, no, they're very smart people. They're very vicious people. And they purposely make these polls phony. They're phony polls. And he said, the only way they really can do it, they have to make it so that the people here think you're 17 down and they don't go and vote because they say it's hopeless. 5 down, 4 down, 3 down means, gee, he has a chance. 17 down means, darling, let's go to dinner. Let's have a wonderful dinner. And then we'll come home and watch the president lose. But we're not going to lose. We're going to win. We're going to win. True story. Isn't that some story? Isn't that sad? And he knows the people. He said, no, this is the way they do it. They're very, and then they came with another state where I was 10 down that I'm going to actually win the state. It's a terrible thing. We have tremendous dishonesty in polling, but not only polling, I mean the stories. And now there's something that happened. We call it freedom of the press, right? This is the opposite of freedom of the press because they now suppress. It's now suppression of the press because now they have stories and they don't want to have. You cannot get a story out on Biden criminality. We have the laptop from hell. We have the worst things anyone's ever seen, and they just won't write about it, and that includes big tech. So you know what I'm doing? Here's who I'm facing. A corrupt Democrat Party that spied on my campaign, and we caught them. They spied on the campaign. Thank you. See, I never do anything to just, to like encourage it, because they say, he led the chant, lock him up, lock him up. He led the chant against crooked Hillary. All she did was get rid of 33,000 emails when she got a subpoena from Congress. She deleted them, she acid washed them, and then she took a hammer to her telephones and she beat the hell out of the phone. I've gotten rid of a lot of phones, I've never hit them with a hammer. Has anybody hit the phone with a hammer? I don't know. Well, we'll have to tell that to Ron Johnson. We can put that. That is a strange event, Ron. I'll bet you never hit your phone with a hammer. No, it's called you throw it out, right? You throw out your phone. You start all over again. No, we got a corrupt bunch of people. But think of it. I'm all up here alone. Think of this. I have the Democrats. They impeached me for making a phone call. No, I make a phone call to a man I never met, the new president of Ukraine. Congratulations, congratulations. It was a perfect phone call. Everybody said it. 297 to nothing in the House, the Republicans voted, right? It's like this perfect phone call. Congratulate. Everyone's telling me, please call him. He just won. Oh, do I have, I'm busy, right? I say, okay, I'll call him. Get the president. Nice guy. Congratulations, blah, blah, blah. By the way, if you see any crime, because we're supposed to have a crime, because it's a lot of corruption there, please report it to the Attorney General of the United States. Oh, we should impeach him. I got impeached over a perfect phone call. But they didn't know we had the call essentially recorded. Thank goodness we had, because they were making up stories, right? They died when they heard we had it transcribed by very professional people. They died because it had already been way down the track by the time they found that out. I had to do that. We called up. We said, do you mind if we put your phone call on public record? They said, why would that be? It was just a congratulatory call. I said, well, you'll find out. These are bad people. So here's what we have. We have the Democrats. Now we have big tech. Now we also have the rhinos. Now the rhinos in many ways are worse than all of them. And most of the rhinos I beat because, you know, they were all representing one of the 17 because we had 18 running. But they were most of whom I get along with. Some of them I don't like. I could tell you the good ones and the bad ones. But I beat all of these guys. And they end up being rhinos and bad people. And here we are, and we're president. We're going to have, I think we're going to have something that's even better than what we did 4 years ago. I really believe that. I really believe that. Because you don't have crowds like this and be on the losing stick. You know, you leave here and you say, gee, that doesn't sound like a second place. You can't even see the end of the crowd. That doesn't look like a second place finisher. So when you hear about suppression, you have some very nice people up there, about 2 of them. But when you hear about, that's right. I know every one of them. Some of them are great, actually. But we're going to have a big victory. And this election is the most important election of our lifetime. This is a more important election than the last one. And I never thought I'd say it because they have gone so far radical left and we have to make this final step. And we're going to be normalizing our country, really normalizing our country. And you know what else normalizes its success? I'll tell you, before the plague came in from China, they should have never let it happen. But before the plague came in from China, I was getting calls from people that you would least expect. It was time. We had the best numbers, the best employment, the best everything. The stock market all-time high. Everything was the best. And they were like, let's talk. And it was happening. And then we got hit with the plague. Success brings this country together. And we're going to have success next year. We're going to have success next year. You know, the most successful year Wisconsin ever had was last year. You're going to have a year. I mean, unless some guy gets in that wants to quadruple your taxes, which he wants to do. He's the only guy I've ever seen. We will raise your taxes. All my life, I've seen politicians say we're going to cut your taxes. He's the only guy ever campaigning on he's going to increase your taxes. In 2016, Wisconsin voted to fire this corrupt political establishment, and you elected an outsider as president who is finally putting America first. If I don't sound like a typical politician, it's because I'm not a politician, if that's okay. And if I don't always play by the rules of Washington and the Washington establishment, it's because I was elected to fight for you, and I fight harder for you than any president at any time in the history of our country. That's so nice. Thank you. That's a chant that has never been heard politically. Nobody's ever, even these people, there's never been a time. We like Ronald Reagan, we like people, but they've never had that chant, so it's an honor. Don't keep it going too long because I'll start to cry. And we can't tell President Xi of China that the president was crying because they said they loved him, right? And the fake news would report it. President Trump broke down in tears as they shouted. Somehow it doesn't work for us, right? We can't do that, right? Look at him. He goes, no way, you can't do it. No, we appreciate it. It's a chant that nobody's ever heard before. It started happening like 6 weeks ago, and I said, man, that's very unusual. But it's a beautiful chant, and I appreciate it. I'm not just running against Sleepy Joe Biden. I'm running against the left-wing media, the big tech giants, and the Washington swamp, and it's deep and vicious. And they can't believe what's happening. They can't believe it. They would have taken most people out. Almost anybody would have been taken out. And I have been helped a lot by that man right there named Ron Johnson. I have. He's a tough guy and he's a smart guy. And I knew it earlier than anybody else. I knew it. I had a meeting with Ron Johnson, and we were going over a very complex tax. Most people had no idea what we were even talking about. He understood it so good. I mean, he really understood it. So I knew a long time ago what you had. Don't lose him. Don't ever lose him. You need to show up. in record numbers and deliver a blistering defeat to these corrupt forces, and they are corrupt as hell. They're trying to take over our country, and we caught them. They're coming for your guns, they're coming for your jobs, and they're coming for your freedom. Think about it. Your vote will stop them on November 3rd. Get out there, you gotta vote. It's the most important issue, one of the most truly important issues. You don't like to even mention it, but it's law and order. And I mentioned that to Biden during one of the debates. I said, hey, Joe, say the words law and order. Can you do it? He wouldn't do it because he didn't want to lose the radical left. He didn't want to lose them. Joe Biden and his party have spent the entire year inciting violence and hatred against our police officers. And he refuses to say you got to stop it. You cannot run through Portland and destroy the city. I mean, it's been going on. We could stop it in 30 minutes. You know, in Seattle, I said, I don't care. We waited and waited. The governor never called. We waited. I said, you got to go. And they took over a part of the city. I mean, this is to even talk about this. Who would think of this, Seattle? And we were going in, and we told them, we're coming in the morning. And you know what they did that evening? They raised their hand and they left. That was the end of it. And a lot of people are paying a big price, by the way. But they raised their hands and they left. Or the statues. We signed a law. You knock down statues. They were knocking down statues all over the country. You knock down statues, you go to jail for 10 years. It's an old law. It's amazing how we haven't seen too much trouble with statues. There were groups that formed. They wanted to do it. They wanted, and then they said, let's get the hell out of here. 10 years. It says 10 years in prison. Old law that we reenacted. You could never get that passed today with this crazy group, Nancy Pelosi and crying Chuck Schumer. Crying Chuck Schumer and Nancy would never pass anything like that. They'd say, no, you're allowed to rip down anything you want. You know, we have a D.C. mayor that set up a commission, right, to talk about all of the things, cancel culture, let's talk about. They don't like the Washington Monument. They want it renamed or taken down. This was their recommendation. Don't worry about it. We're not doing, I promise you. They don't like the Thomas Jefferson Memorial because they don't like it. They don't even know why. Tell me why. And they don't like even the Lincoln Memorial, right? They don't like the Lincoln. So they wanted recommendations to change the name or take them down. And I said, I think this commission should be immediately disbanded because it's not going anywhere. But they are. I mean, this is a fact. Take down the Washington Monument. These people are stone cold crazy. You have to go out and you have to vote. Biden stands with the rioters and looters, and Biden wouldn't say anything about the report. They asked him about the report. He didn't want to comment. I have no comment. Do you want to take down the Washington Monument, sir? I have no comment on that. He has no clue. He never had much of a clue. Now we know I stand with the heroes of law enforcement. These are great people, and we have to help them. If Biden wins, the rioters and the streets, they'll be running your federal government. They'll be running your government. No city, no family, and no community will be safe. The Biden-Harris, how about Harris? Kamala. And you have to say her name right or she gets very upset, right? Even though she doesn't say it right, you know. But the Biden-Harris plan would end cash bail, releasing 400,000 dangerous criminals immediately onto your streets. Murderers and rapists. This is what's going on is crazy. When the violent mob came to a place known as Kenosha. Did you ever hear of Kenosha? Because I did. Remember what I did? If I didn't activate immediately, Kenosha would not be there any longer. They were going to take it down. Biden opposed sending in the National Guard, and I insisted on it. And I frankly wish the governor asked me sooner, but at least he asked me. But we came in, and that was over in about another 15 minutes, right? That didn't take long. And we saved Kenosha, so you still have Kenosha. They burned a couple of buildings down. I met with the people, and really good people. One was there 100 years, a photography store. It was 100 years. They burned down the store, but it's going to get rebuilt. But we stopped it. That whole area would have been burned to the ground. So we came in, and it was so easy, too. It's easy. But you sometimes have to meet force with force. You can't just stand back, sit back, and watch it take place, like they did in Minneapolis. And then we went in, and it took place very quickly. Like, usually if it takes, like, more than a half an hour to wipe the whole thing out, I say you're not doing a very good job. Biden's running mate, the most liberal senator in America, even urged their supporters to donate to a fund that bailed out the rioters, took them right out of jail, including a cop killer or an attempted cop killer. Biden wants to lock down your homes. He's ready to lock it down. I mean, you guys are already in a lockdown, so you might not notice it as much. Hey, Governor, you got to open up your state here. You got to open it up. Got to open up your state. Got to open it up. You know, it's sad. It's sad. You got to go back. You understand? You're going to socially distance. You're going to do all the things you want to do. But I mean, we're having these outdoor rallies. It's they say outdoor. Normally would go into an arena. I actually like this stuff better, although sometimes it's snowing and sleet. I loved that last stop, but it was, the rain was pouring like sideways. It was going, that stuff. That's when you say, I love the indoor arenas, but I like these. With a day like this, it's so beautiful. It's great. Is there any place better to be than a Trump rally, though, seriously? It's great. But this election is a choice between a Trump super boom or a Biden depression. That's what it is. And it's also between opening up and keeping it closed. You see what's happening in Europe? They're trying it again. They're going to close up. They closed up and they destroyed their economy. Our economy is so much better, so much stronger, went down so much less, and now it's come up faster than any country in the world. But ours is between a safe vaccine, which is coming very shortly, it's a momentarily, or a devastating lockdown. That's what Biden wants to do because he has no choice. He will not call the shots. He will not call the shots. And everybody knows it. Thanks to our historic campaign to slash red tape and mobilize industry, we will deliver a safe vaccine to the American people in literally over the next few weeks, we think, over the next few weeks. There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure on everybody, including on the FDA, not to let this happen before the election. So let me tell you, if Biden was in charge of this vaccine, just like the swine flu, he was in charge of H1N1, right, which he can never get right. He can't remember it. It's always messed up. Sometimes he does N1H1. I say no. But it's the swine flu. I said, just call it the swine flu. It's easier, right? It's the same thing. Call it the swine flu. It was a catastrophe. And his own chief of staff said it was the dumbest run thing they've ever done. And the lethality is much less than what this was and is and was. And sort of was because we have therapeutics now that are incredible. In fact, here I am. I'm here, right? They gave me a shot, Regeneron it's called, and others, Eli Lilly now have the antibody stuff. And I like to say it had no impact, but I wasn't feeling good. I'd like to say because of my physical power, my strength, my young age, I made the case. CNN got very angry. I said, I'm not concerned. No, I said when I got better quick. No, CNN got very angry. Fake news. CNN is totally fake. I said, no, I beat it because I'm in perfect physical shape and I'm a very young person. Well, our First Lady got it. It got better. Barron got it. He got better so fast we didn't even know. We said, the doctor said, Sir, Barron has tested positive. I said, for what? And he's very young and very tall. He's seriously tall. And he's a good kid, but he's a strong kid, but he's a kid, and the immune system. So they said, Dr. Sean, he's great. He's a fantastic White House physician. And he said, Barron tested positive. I said, for what? He said, for COVID. You know, there's like 30 different names. I happen to call it the China plague or the China virus because it's more accurate, right? And like, you know, about 14 minutes later, I said, how's Barron doing? Oh, he's recovered fully. I said, Barron, were you feeling bad? I didn't know anything, Dad. I didn't. What was wrong, Dad? No, they have a very strong. By the way, speaking of that, get back to school. Get back to school. Okay? Get back to school, right? Look at Ron saying agrees. Seniors will be the first in line to get it, and we're making it available free because it's not your fault that this thing happened. And the vaccine, by the way, with or without the vaccine, we're rounding the turn, but the vaccine makes it go faster. The vaccines are going to be out very soon, very, very soon. Our vaccine will eradicate the virus, end the pandemic, quickly restore normal life. I just want normal life. You do too. All we want is normal life. I'm looking up to the sky. A friend of mine said, you know, you're the most famous man in the world. I said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, he said, no, who's more famous than you? You are the most famous man in the world. What are you talking about? Who's more famous? I said, Jesus Christ. And I don't want to take any chances. So I looked up and I said, and it's not even close. All right. But next year will be the greatest economic year in the history of our country. Joe Biden's plan will delay the vaccine, postpone therapies, crash the economy, and lock down the entire country. He doesn't mind locking down the country. The country could not stand it. You know, we locked it down shortly. We did it. We figured it out. We protect our elderly people, etc. But he thinks it's fine. He loves that whole deal. I'll tell you, all he talks about is COVID. He gets up today, he's talking COVID, 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 COVID. And the truth is, we have done an incredible job with the ventilators, the vaccines, the therapeutics. But all he does, because he's got nothing else he can talk about, because no administration in the history of our country has done what we've done. I say it all the time, in the first 3.5 years, what we've done with tax cuts and regulation cuts and rebuilding our military, which was totally depleted and a disaster. What we've done with our military and so many other things, you know them all. Nobody's done, and they never even question me. You know, the fake news with all the cameras, it's never like where they come, oh, you shouldn't have said that. Nobody's done. And think of it, Space Force. We could name, right? We could name so many different things. Under the Biden lockdown, countless Americans will die from suicide, drug overdoses, deferred medical care, and you'll have no school, no graduations, no weddings, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no 4th of July, no future. Other than that, he's doing a fantastic job. Biden wants to keep everyone locked up, even young Americans who are extremely low risk, like we talked about. He wants to steal the dreams and the future of our young people. You know, one thing we've learned, the computers are great and the laptops, everything's great. And for telehealth, it's been great, where people can stay in. It's really been, I think it's up like 7,000% or something, and it's a great thing. But you know, for school learning, it's terrible. It doesn't work. It can't compare to a class or a campus. They're trying so hard to say, oh, gee, this is wonderful. It doesn't compare, and it's well documented. You're taking a large percentage of a young life out of play, and it's a terrible thing you're doing to young kids. And it's a terrible thing that's happening with the parents, too, because the kids at school and the parents are working. Now the parents don't know what to do. Many of their jobs are gone anyway. Now you got to open up your state. You got to do it fast. You got to do it fast. Thanks to our relentless efforts, only 3% of the emergency room visits nationwide are related to the virus. Think of that, 3%. Because you know what it is? They only talk about cases. The reason we have so many cases is because we test. If I tested half, you know, they said test, test, test. We test more than any country in the world by far. We have the best tests. These are things that we never even had 6 months ago. Now, if I said, let's cut the testing down in half, you'd have half. Everyone would say, oh, the cases are way down, right? But you know what? It's good because we know if there's a problem, et cetera, we know if there's a hot spot. But that's exactly what it is. I mean, but what we do and what we've done so well are the therapies. And if you think of it, the fatality rate is down 85% and more now. Think of that. But they talk about cases because, when you hear 3% of the emergency rooms are devoted, it's supposed to be 100% and the hospitals are going to close. They don't know what's going on. It's been amazing what we've been able to do. But you don't hear them talking about death. You hear them talking about, because as a percentage, what we've done compared to other countries is incredible. And now, especially with the explosion that you see taking place over in Europe. So we've done a great job, and I'll tell you what, our vice president's been fantastic. And you compare vice presidents, and if you don't mind, I'll take the one we have, okay? You talk about a victory at a debate. That was one of the greatest victories at a debate I've ever seen. That one wasn't even close. Our excess mortality rate is 42% lower than Europe's. Think of that, where cases are now surging despite very powerful lockdowns that they've had very powerful lockdowns. But don't take my word for it. I want to just show you something on a screen, okay? Very special people get this. We have a video on our fight against the China virus and a couple of other quick things. Again, we only do this for extremely important states and people. Go ahead.
Fact is, every time I've called the president, he's quickly gotten on the line. When we asked to get support for that Mercy ship in Southern California, he was able to direct that in real time.
What the federal government did, working with states, was a phenomenal accomplishment.
We got 2,000 of these field medical sites that are up, almost all operational now in the state because of his support. And those are the facts.
His team has been on it. I know a team when they're on it, and I know a team when they're not on it. His team is on it. They've been responsive late at night, early in the morning.
We are working very well with FEMA Region 2 and with the Army Corps of Engineers, building 4 field hospitals. That was a decision the president himself took, and I'm grateful for it.
These were just extraordinary efforts and acts of mobilization. And the federal government stepped up. We needed help, and they were there.
He said everything that I could have hoped for. And we had a very long conversation. And every single set they followed through on.
We've got to have double the number of ventilators that we requested for that area of the state. And in fact, we got them in, frankly, short order.
Have we lost anyone because we didn't have a bed, or we didn't have a ventilator, or we didn't have healthcare staff? No.
The president was extending support for new swabs. So conversation, commitment, promise made, promise kept.
My problem is I voted for NAFTA.
I'm supporting NAFTA because I think it is a positive thing to do. And I do not pretend to be an expert on international trade matters.
Trade agreements like NAFTA and permanent normal trade relations with China, which forced American workers to compete against people who are making pennies an hour, has resulted in the loss of 160,000 jobs.
The president is absolutely right when he says that China has been cheating for 25 years and that Bill Clinton didn't do enough about it, George W. Bush didn't do enough about it, Barack Obama didn't do enough about it.
The rising China is an incredibly positive development for not only China, but the United States and the rest of the world. Rising China is a positive development. It is in our self-interest that China continue to prosper. We want to see China rise.
China's a great nation, and we should hope for the continued expansion.
China is not our enemy.
We talk about China as our competitor. We should be helping. The idea that China is going to eat our lunch is bizarre.
The idea that they are our competition, they're going to beat us, is bizarre.
They're not bad folks.
China's not a problem.
Allowing China into the World Trade Organization, which he supported, extending most favored nation status to China, which he supported, those steps allowed China to take advantage of the United States by using our own open trade deals against us.
No.
Do you think in retrospect that you were naive about China?
No.
But doesn't he deserve some credit for that? It's better. The USMCA is better than NAFTA.
It is better than NAFTA.
Now, to be fair, maybe Biden's not telling us because he's forgotten his own plans. Watch Biden's staff quickly swoop in to shuffle him along during a quickie escape the basement trip to Pennsylvania.
Here's the deal. One of the things that is important is that keep in mind, although they're going to vote on Barrett, I think today.
That was terrifying.
What kind of country we're going to be? 4 more years of Georgia, he's going to find ourselves in a position where if Trump gets elected, we're going to be in a different world.
You know, I like that because I save a lot of words. You could never duplicate what you see up there. But you see the governors, and then they'll say, although some of them have been actually very good, but we've done a great job. And you see it there, and that's what their real feeling is. But when they get up to a mic, well, I don't know if he's done that good. No, we've done a great job. If you want a vaccine to kill the virus, a job to support your family, and freedom to live your life to the fullest, you have to vote Republican. It's so important. You have to vote Republican. So we're joined today with some really great people, and a man that's right at the top of that list for me is Senator Ron Johnson. I'm telling you, you're lucky you have him. He's a fantastic man, and he's done an incredible job, and he's got a lot of courage, too. And in Washington, he's respected by everybody. Also, Congressman Glenn Grothman. Glenn? Good, Glenn. Thank you, Glenn. And Mike Gallagher. Mike? Thanks, Mike. Great job. Great guys. And somebody that's done a really good job for us, GOP Chairman Andrew Hitt. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. How we doing, Andrew? Because we're not going to fire you so damn fast. You'll be out of here, Andrew. No, I think we're doing great, yeah. I think we're doing great. I also want to thank a legendary champion and a Green Bay Packer personified Hall of Famer, Brett Favre, for his endorsement. Oh, you know, he's a tough guy. He's great. But 2 days ago, I saw that he endorsed me, and I just want to thank him. He's a hell of a champion. He's a great champion. I look at some of his records. You don't even realize it, but when you look at passing yards and touchdowns, and one thing about him, tough as hell and great and really talented. So I want to thank Brett Favre. Thank you very much. For decades, our politicians spent trillions of dollars rebuilding foreign nations. Now we are rebuilding, if it's okay with you, our nation. I ended the NAFTA nightmare and replaced it with a brand new USMCA. Wisconsin dairy farmers were decimated under the Obama and Biden plan. Just think about it. I only ran because of them. I said that during the debate, too. I said, Joe, never thought of this. I ran because of you people, because you did such a bad job. He had no response to that. With the USMCA, our dairy exports to Canada are expected to surge by more than 100%, okay? Just went into effect. And we're not going to be losing our companies to Mexico and Canada. We're not going to have our companies close up and get rid of everybody, fire everybody, and move and do the same product in Mexico. You saw that it's probably the #1 reason I ran. I couldn't stand watching it. And it's going to be now they're going to pay a tremendous economic price if they do that. Joe Biden is a corrupt politician. They took millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party while Vice President Biden shipped your jobs to China. How the hell can he negotiate with China with the money they take? And the news, they don't want to cover it. The fake media, the lamestream media, and the companies, right? These wonderful companies that obviously don't love our country. It's suppression. They don't want to cover it. If Biden wins, China wins. His son walks in, takes out $1.5 billion to manage, billions of dollars a year. They walk in, where's Hunter? He wants to know where's Hunter? We haven't found him. He's still looking for his laptop from hell. That's where he is. Where's my laptop? Hunter, you left it at a repair shop. You never picked it up, Hunter. And you know what they go? Russia did it. Russia, Russia, Russia. Ron, it's Russia. I know, it's Russia. I saw Adam Schiff, watermelon head like this. I believe that Russia caused this problem. Russia. Yeah, here we go. Russia, Russia, Russia. We have a great head of DNI. He said, no, it had nothing to do with Russia. Put out a very strong statement. Nothing to do. If it does, we let it know. We let Russia know. But this is pure, disgusting, evil stuff that goes on. And your tech companies don't want to put it on. Even the New York Post, which had real courage, by the way, and they endorsed me 2 days ago, which I like. But they had real courage. And they took down the New York Post site. Can you believe it? The New York Post, the oldest newspaper in the country, fourth largest in the country, they took down the site. Now, we got to get to the bottom of it, and we will. With guys like Kim, we will. When we win, Wisconsin wins. When we win, America wins, and that's what's happening. Under my leadership, we achieved the most secure border in U.S. history. We have now built over 400 miles of wall. And we'll soon be finished. They don't talk about the wall anymore. They used to kill me. I'd go through, we'd fight them, and we'd close up, and we'd do all sorts of things, and they would go after me. Once the wall started, and once they saw we had all that money lined up to get it done, and the impact it's had is incredible. It's not completed yet, but it will be very soon. And I built it exactly as Border Patrol and ICE wanted it, exactly. I said, what about concrete plank? They said, sir, that's no good, have to see through. Well, how about this and how about that? I know it all. That's what I like. They said, sir, we want steel. We then want concrete inside the steel, and then we'd like rebar. I said, can you think of a more expensive way, maybe? But we gave it, and then we want on top an anti-climb, the thing on top. I said, why are we doing that? That's very expensive. The piece of steel on top, it's 4 feet deep. They said, sir, that's called anti-climb. It's harder to climb. I mean, I gave them everything. Now they have no excuse. I don't want to have any excuses. And our numbers on the border are phenomenal, the best we've ever had. Joe Biden has pledged to open borders, mass amnesty, nationwide catch and release. You know what that is? That's when you catch a criminal, murderer, rapist, you let the criminal go. We argued about this during the debate. He said they all come back for trial. No, they don't come back, Joe. Only the ones I said with very low IQs come back. You have a trial in 2.5 years for murder. You have to come back. We released them, and I ended it. It's all ended. Okay, you think that was easy? It's not easy doing this stuff. It looks easy, but it's not. Sanctuary cities from coast to coast. They want to have sanctuary cities all over the place. And free health care for illegal aliens, which will bankrupt your Medicare and your Social Security. You will not have Social Security if you do that, or Medicare. We all have a big heart. I do. I want to take care of everybody. Problem is you have millions of people pouring in from all over the world if you do this. As your president, I will protect your borders, I will protect your families, and I will always protect your Medicare and your Social Security. And I've always said it. Biden and Bernie Sanders, crazy Bernie, one of the greatest losers of all time, this guy. No, but I meant that in a nice way. He lost, and he went back to the Senate and voted radical left. Then he lost again. I mean, Elizabeth Pocahontas, Warren. All she had to do is get out a couple of days early. He would have won every one of those states, but she decided not to do that. I don't think she likes Bernie, okay? But Biden will increase refugees. This was agreed with Bernie and the group, and AOC +3, right? Highly educated person on the environment, AOC. Have you ever taken a class on the environment? I don't think so. Increase refugees by 700% from terror hotspots. So think of that, 700. This was agreed to. I don't think Bernie was that bad. I think actually Bernie went further left after they made the deal. And I'm keeping radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country, okay? If it's okay with you. Look at what's gone on in France over the last 4 days. What's happened in France? We invested $2.5 trillion in the U.S. military, including nearly $6 billion to save the historic shipyard, Marinette Marine. And even more money for combat vehicle manufacturing in Oshkosh. You know, Marinette's doing a great job. I went to Marinette 4 or 5 months ago, looked at what they were doing, and we gave the contract to them, which cost me a lot of states, but that's okay. But we gave that to Marinette. They do a great job. They do a great job. They were ready to close. A $6 billion contract, and it's going to be extended. They make the most beautiful ship. You have to see, it looks like a super yacht, except it's got weapons all over it. You know, I would say paint it gleaming white and call it a yacht, but the weapons sort of throw you off a little bit. You got more guns and things on that. I've never seen anything like it. Anyway, but they're fantastic. Biden will close the shipyard down. He will close it down. He will cut your military spending. We need it. And also, it's all made in the USA. It's jobs. It's great. Best stuff. And you know what? $2.5 trillion. We're the envy of the world. We're the envy of Russia and China. Nobody has the equipment that we have. Nobody. Stealth fighter jets, F-35s. Can't see them. Tanks. We have submarines. We have everything. What we've done, and nuclear, we've upgraded our nuclear. We have new nuclear. And all you do is one thing. You pray that we never have to use it. Okay? That's the big thing. But having it and having it in tippy-top condition is the best way that we will never, ever have to use it. It's the best way. The last administration's cruel VA policies resulted in deadly wait lists. Under Biden and Obama, 300,000 veterans died on a waiting list. To fix this travesty, we passed Veterans' Choice and VA accountability. Accountability for firing bad people that don't love our vets and take care of our vets, which you could not do under any circumstances. Civil service, unions, whatever. And now you can do it. Jim, you're not treating our vets right. Get the hell out of here. Get fired. Okay, get it. Right? And we took care of now our vets, instead of waiting for weeks sometimes to see a doctor, they go to a private doctor, we pay the bill. And it's actually, it's probably less expensive. It's probably less expensive, but much more importantly, we take care of our vets. You had vets getting online by the time they saw the doctor, they became terminally ill. They actually had become terminally ill waiting for so long. So now they get out, immediately see a doctor, and recently we just got a 91% approval rating for the way we're running the VA, the vets, from the vets. We killed the leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. We took out the world's top terrorist. Soleimani is dead. #1 terrorist in the world. I withdrew from the last administration's disastrous Iran nuclear deal, $150 billion. For nothing. You know what they gave $150 billion? John Kerry. He's another genius. What a deal that was. I recognized the capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. Presidents have been talking about doing that forever. Many, many presidents. They campaigned on it and then they wouldn't do it. And I understand why. It was not easy to do. We had tremendous, tremendous pressure on us not to do it. But I did it. I just didn't take anybody's phone call, that's all. I also recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. They've been working on that for 52 years. I got it done in 2 hours. And instead of never-ending wars, we are forging peace all throughout the Middle East for no money and no blood all over the sand. No blood. Got countries lined up want to make a deal. They all want to come in after all these years. And the other side and everybody, they all said you could never do it this way. No, you could never do it the way they've wanted to do it for decades and decades. I've done more in 47 months than Joe Biden has done in 47 years. A vote for Republicans is a vote for the American dream. And remember, the Republican Party is the party of the late, great Abraham Lincoln, right? Got to remember that. People forget that. Over the next 4 years, we will make America into the manufacturing superpower of the world, and we will end our reliance on China, which has already started. We will hire more police, increase penalties for assaults on law enforcement, and we will ban deadly sanctuary cities. They're dead. They're gone. We will end the big tech monopoly and restore freedom of speech. We will defend the right to life, religious liberty, and the right to keep and bear arms. We will maintain America's unrivaled military might, and we will ensure peace through strength. We will end surprise medical billing, require price transparency, already signed, starts January 1st, will be bigger than healthcare, you watch. Lower drug prices even more, and they'll be down 50, 60, 70%, because I've invoked favored nations. The drug companies, Big Pharma they call it, does not like me too much. They have more ads than Sleepy Joe has against me. Every time you see one of those ads, remember, your drug they're just plummeting. Those prices are coming down. And we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions, right? All right? America will land the first woman on the moon, and the United States will be the first nation to land an astronaut on Mars. We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education in our schools. And we will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag. And we will live by the timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." For years, you had a president who apologized for America. Now you have a president who is standing up for America and standing up for the great people of Wisconsin. I am. For some reason, I like you. You know why I like you? Because we had a victory. They didn't think I was going to win. And we kept waiting for Pennsylvania. It was obvious I was going to win, but the fake news didn't want to call it because that would have meant the end. And then out of the blue comes, Donald Trump has won the state of Wisconsin. I said, yeah. Right? Along with Ron, Donald Trump. I was a very pretty sound, and that was it. That was it. You know, you were the one. You got us over the top. You better do it again. So get your friends, get your family, get your neighbors, and get out to vote. Got to get out to vote. On November 3rd or previous to November 3rd, just get out to vote. Whichever way you want to do it. Whatever way you want to do it, you got to get out to vote. This is a very serious... We're doing... Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate it. On November 3rd, we must finish the job and drain the rest of the swamp. We've drained a lot of it. From Madison to Milwaukee, from Janesville to Kenosha, and from La Crosse to right here in Green Bay. I love Green Bay. But I love Kenosha, too, because we did a great job there. We showed them something, right? We showed them how to stop them. That was sort of easy, but I love Kenosha. We inherit the legacy of Wisconsin patriots who gave their blood, sweat, and tears for this beloved nation. We stand on the shoulders of American heroes who crossed the oceans, settled the continent, tamed the wilderness, laid down the railroads, raised up the great, great skyscrapers, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and made America into the single greatest nation in the history of the world. And the best is yet to come. It is. The best is yet to come. Proud citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country. We are returning power to you, the American people. With your help, and we are doing that. Have you noticed? A lot of things are changing very fast in D.C. We need this final step. It's going to be something. But with your devotion and your drive, we are going to keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting, and we are going to keep on winning. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Wisconsin, we have made America powerful again. Our military is so powerful. We have made America wealthy again. Look at what's happening to our country. We have made America strong again. We're doing it with our incredible law enforcement and everyone else. We have made America proud again. We have made America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you, Wisconsin. Thank you, Green Bay. Get out and vote, please. Get out and vote. Most important election of your lifetime. Thank you, everybody, very much. Thank you.
Okay, real quick, we got another one coming up in Rochester, Minnesota. Crew is standing by. Magnificent and others ready to take you home. And we thank you for watching RSBN. I'm currently booking travel for more rallies. 11 more just got announced, and 3 tomorrow in Pennsylvania. Actually, 4 now in Pennsylvania. Another one was added. We are doing everything we can to make sure that we are at every one of these because we made a promise, and we're going to do our best to make that happen. If you want to support us and help us get to the rallies, please donate at rsbnetwork.com/donate. We're viewer supported here, and we're only doing this because of your help. All right, back to the crew.
All right, there you have it. Another inspiring speech by our president. And of course, back in 2016, Trump edged out Clinton, but by a slim margin. But as some of the preliminary early voting indicates here in the state, that he has widened that gap that he once had in 2016. Of course, he talked about law and order. He talked about things that a lot of people is on their mind here in Wisconsin. Of course, with Kenosha, the events this past summer, that resonated really well with the crowd here as far as not defunding the police and backing the police. And of course, also talking about the economy, getting that back open, getting schools back open, getting jobs back open. A lot of people across the country have suffered unemployment and job loss due to COVID-19. Of course, that was just one of the things that President Trump wanted to hammer home. Also, the importance to get out and vote. And we still got, we've got 4 days until the election. And he once again emphasizes that he's out making 2-3 stops a day by Joe Biden maybe making a virtual appearance. So he's trying to keep the energy high, trying to keep the enthusiasm level high, as he truly feels like we've got 4 days to wrap it up and get it done. Hey, we want to thank you as our viewer. We also want to thank our partner for the day, itargetpro.com. Now, innocent people right now are falling victim to crime, intimidation, and they're forced to fend for themselves because Democrats and the left want to defund the police. And the government can't and won't protect your family. Self-defense is the only option. But most importantly, you don't have time to consistently train, and ammo is very expensive. That's why iTarget Pro was invented. iTarget Pro, now using their proprietary app and laser bullet, you can now train safely in the convenience of your own home with your actual firearm. iTarget comes in all major calibers, 223 to 5.56. Also, stay sharp with almost any firearm. And today, you can get 10% off plus free shipping. The offer code SAVE10. That's 10% off plus free shipping with the offer code SAVE10. This is the smartest way for you to practice, and it pays for itself in really just a few days. That's a letter itargetpro.com. itargetpro.com, and don't forget about that offer code SAVE10. SAVE10, that's the offer code. Well, I couldn't think of a better gift for somebody in your family for Christmas. itargetpro.com. You're seeing a look at the crowd coming out as well. A lot of them waving at us here at Right Side Broadcasting, and I thought at one point the president was going to mention Right Side Broadcasting at one point, because he did point to the risers and he kind of pointed out our area and he said there's a few good people up there. I would think he's going to talk about everyone here at Right Side, as we've seen a lot of love once again here on the campaign tour. The president just added several dates today, new rallies coming up, and so obviously we have not missed a one. We'll be on the beat on that. I don't know where our team here is going after this, but we'll find out soon. And of course, we'll bring all the campaign information over to you as well. It's really interesting as we go into the last few days of this campaign in the voting season, that the turnout at these crowds are not dwindling at all. You would think that after 4 years of really campaigning and fighting the attacks from the left, that the enthusiasm from this campaign and from President Trump and just some of the supporters, that it would be a beatdown, and it would be something that they would lose the enthusiasm. And I just don't see that at all on this campaign trail, and I just encourage everybody to get out and vote. And President Trump said earlier, it's important now more than ever to make sure that your family votes, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, and we all show up on November 3rd, because our freedom, our liberties are at stake. And of course, he talked about the Second Amendment, and here in Wisconsin, a lot of sport hunting. A lot of people like to hunt, a lot of outdoorsmen. That's very important for them as well. When he mentioned it earlier, the place really erupted in cheers. So you want to protect your freedom of speech. He talked about big tech, Twitter, Facebook, Google, suppressing the conservative voice. And so we said earlier, whenever Liz Willis was here, now she had to go off, catch a flight to another rally, but we talked about the need to protect our freedom of speech, and big tech is trying to suppress our viewpoints. So we encourage you to take this broadcast, share it with a friend, tag somebody, let us know where you're watching us. We certainly appreciate everything that you guys do for us. So that's about it. I'll send it back to Joe in the studio from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Brian Glenn, Right Side Broadcasting. Until next time, goodbye. God bless.